Welcome in, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Happy Tuesday to you. Wanted to shout out all the Tier 1s. And if you're listening and you don't know what a Tier 1 is, it's just what we call our audience. And you don't have to sign up for anything or fill out anything. It'd be great if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, search for Ben and Woods. It'd be great if you downloaded the Odyssey app, but that doesn't necessarily, you don't have to pay anything to be a Tier 1. If you listen to our show, you're a Tier 1, so we appreciate you. It's just what we call you guys. You guys are family to us, so thank you for being here for us, with us, every single day. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. He's very sleepy right now. Yeah. What is the deal?
I don't know. I have not been able to sleep the last couple of nights.
Is it in the... hold on, I'll come back to you, because I do want to talk about this. I want to introduce this guy over here. Ben Higgins is also here.
I get kind of...
Yeah, we shut your mic off. I'm sorry, we didn't tell you.
You don't get to
You
talk
actually
anymore.
don't work here anymore.
It's all right.
Sorry about that.
I get kind of antsy, so you got to introduce
Yeah,
me
I gotta get that.
here.
Maybe I should just go around this way. I don't know. Well, I've just done it this way for so long.
I don't mind.
How you doing, Benjamin?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Yeah.
Sleep well?
Did actually sleep quite well.
Okay, I did too. I slept like a baby last night.
Which is, for me, is a short amount of time.
Yes, but
as
it's
long
quality.
As long as I don't feel like I got up in the night, like the first thing I hear is my alarm. Like, okay, I slept all the way through. It may only be, 11:30 to 4:30, but it's a good, solid 5 hours.
Quality.
I got a good quality sleep last night.
Well, Paulie said in his recap he's been scuffling to sleep. What, the last, Sunday night?
Sunday night and Monday night.
So I think Sunday night I was up at 2. I was actually excited to come back to work, to have the threeness back together. But that happens to me. Like when we come back from vacation on the 6th of January, the 5th, I will not sleep. I will be laying there like a little kid, ready to come into work. And then, usually the next day I'm fine. But you haven't slept the last 2 nights.
Yeah, it's weird. I probably shut it down about 9:15 last night. Next thing I know, it's midnight, and I have not slept yet. And,
bro, that is so scary.
And bro, you get to about 10 o'clock, you're like, all right, come on,
bro, let's go.
Then now you start getting panicked, and now you're even more worked up and awake.
And now you're really not sleeping.
And so, when I get to about midnight, which this happens every once in a while, I wouldn't say often, but every once in a while, I'll get to about midnight, and I have to switch it up. Like last night, went and slept on the couch. A little bit cooler out in the living room, and I thought maybe that'll change things. If I make it to 1 a.m., and it's happened, I think, maybe twice. If I get to 1 a.m. and I have not slept, I will just
come to work.
Come to work early.
Yep. Yeah, I have a recommendation. Something that I'll do if I can't fall asleep. Now I have to go to the restroom, shut the door, and lock it, which usually helps.
I know.
My wife doesn't know that I do that while she's asleep in the bed. But every now and then, sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah.
Clear it, just reset, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
That ever work for you guys?
Might have worked last night.
Of course, what I'm talking about is going into the bathroom. You get a hot towel. And you just put it on your face. And you just relax. That's what I'm talking about.
Nice and relaxed, yeah.
Okay?
Reading
always helps. Yes, reading helps.
Try that. Reading.
Well, I'm sorry, dude. And you put in your recap, you're a little bit panicked because once you hit 11, 12 o'clock, you're not taking anything. Because that's a death sentence. You're just like, I'm going to take this NyQuil at midnight. You come in here tomorrow, you'd be like, it's like heroin. There's no way you're getting up and taking NyQuil. You have to time it all perfectly.
Megan came out this morning and she goes, "What the hell are you doing out here?" And I was like, I couldn't sleep. Try to switch it up. And she's like, take a ZQuil or something.
But you have to do it at 8:30.
Yeah, I got to do it early. And I got to experiment. Because I'm not against a melatonin or anything like that.
Me neither, bro.
But I have to experiment a little bit to find the right amount to take because we do get up pretty early.
Yep.
And I do not want that tired, groggy feeling.
Once it happens on Monday, and you don't sleep on Monday well, and you don't sleep on Tuesday, I get the week-long panic of I'm not going to sleep all week. I'm going to be a walking zombie the entire week. Well, today is Let's Hug Day. And we don't hug enough on this show.
No, we hug plenty. We do.
Enough. I'm going to give
We
you a big one.
hug plenty.
Come over here. Ooh, yeah. Look at him. Look at you. That's a good one.
Okay.
That was tight.
Thanks.
Polly
Let's Hug Day. Let's
hug it out. Let's Hug today. Oh.
Who invented Let's Hug Day? Like, when was that? Like, who decided?
Somebody
you know
that
what?
likes hugs.
December 3rd should be Let's Hug Day.
Well, whoever it was, I like him better than the person that named this day, December 3rd, National Green Bean Casserole Day.
Didn't you just have one? At
Didn't you just
Thanksgiving?
have? I just made 5 for Thanksgiving. I told you yesterday, if I see it again, I'm going to retch. You couldn't pay me $100 to eat a plate of green bean casserole today, and I wolfed it down for 5 days straight, bro. Why would they do it today? Of all days, why would you say, ooh, yeah, let's do it, almost a week after Thanksgiving?
My guess is there's a green bean council somewhere that's promoting green beans for the green bean farmers of America.
I'd like to get on that
They
council.
probably have an excess crop at this point because it's a fall harvest, and they think, okay, we just did great Thanksgiving, sold
we
a
crushed
lot
it.
of green beans, but now there's a bit of a lull here this next week. No one's buying green beans because everyone ate them last week. What can we do to promote our green beans the week after Thanksgiving? And someone said, I have a great idea. Let's declare December 3rd National Green Bean Casserole Day and, try to ramp up the excitement again after the whole Thanksgiving, big shooting match last week.
Because they crushed it last week. They absolutely crushed it last week. Today is also a very important day. It's Giving Tuesday. And that means you give to charities of your choice. I will never tell people not to give to charities of their choice. I will ask you guys this. Please consider donating to Lucky Duck, the Lucky Duck Foundation. That is the charity that we have decided that we are going to work with. Now, we haven't really cleared it with them. So we're hoping to work with Lucky Duck. Lucky Duck, if you're listening, we would like to work with you for our Christmas and holiday extravaganza. And we are going to do our giving to that program. And they are doing some fantastic work here in San Diego. So we're going to work with them for the Christmas and holiday
of Peter Seidler,
in honor of
obviously,
our
who
beloved.
Was, a major part of the organization. And are there a lot of organizations and charities that are like, no, we don't really want your help in, raising money and awareness? Is that a common thing? I would assume that they're going to be more than happy to accept the support of the tier ones in the program.
I would assume the same, but what happens when you assume, right? But I hope that they're, they would be excited to work with us and our amazingly giving audience. We like to give back as much as we can. I wish we did more, frankly, but Lucky Duck is I got the chance to go to their dinner this year, and I got a chance to hear the stories, and I told you guys about them. And I'm telling you, man, I'm sitting there. I'm next to Norv Turner, and I'm weeping openly about this couple. This couple that both got addicted, that had kids, both got addicted to drugs, both went their separate ways. Both were living under bridges, literally like under bridges. One gets clean and gets really clean, goes and saves the other one, and he gets clean. And guess what? They got their family back now, and now they're a family again. And that's all due to Lucky Duck and the work that they do. Stories like that, because everybody has hard times. Everybody has hard times. A lot of us have golden parachutes to help us out of hard times. But, I mean, if you really think about it, how close everybody is to actually being out there, it's closer than you think. I will say that. And their stories were very, very moving. So that's who we're going to be working with. I'm not telling you
certainly feels like, homelessness is a pressing issue.
Massively.
I think, no matter how you feel about how it is handled, how it should be handled, I think we can all agree that it's a really major issue, especially here in San Diego.
Of course.
We've seen it getting worse over the last few years, and it's something that Peter Seidler took to heart. And we would just like to do a little bit and what we can this month. So I think that's a great choice to focus our attention for our holiday extravaganza.
Yeah, it's a charity that I can absolutely get behind, and again, because Peter was so integral to them, and I've talked to his wife about it many, many times, and they do a great job. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. So I'm not going to tell you to not wait to give on that day. If you want to give to Lucky Duck, give to Lucky Duck today.
I will say that the whole expansion, Black Friday has been a thing for a very long time.
Yes. Now there's a new day every day.
But now
Black Friday's become like November 5th. Like it's like the whole month of November now.
But then there's Small Business Saturday.
Yeah.
Shout out Nancaro Realty Group.
Cyber Monday and Giving Tuesday. Was there something on Sunday that I missed? But it feels like they're adding days to our calendar every single year. There's something new, which is fine. But I'm always if I want to shop at a small business, I'm not going to wait until Saturday. I could do it on Friday. I could wait until Tuesday.
I'm the same way.
I could give on Monday, or I could give on Friday, or Giving Tuesday. I can shop online any day. It doesn't have to be Cyber Monday.
But do you give on
a Thursday?
Monday, Tuesday, maybe it's just Wednesday. A gentle nudge.
He promotes.
I promote.
That's his promote.
It's a good day to promote.
It's really my favorite bit. You guys can use my platform. It's like I gave money. It's just like I gave money. It's no big deal.
Well, my time is worth money. I get paid for my time.
You know what else is worth money? Your money is worth money. No, hold on.
If only you could pay the bills.
Isn't time in many ways more valuable than money? They often say money can't buy time. So time
That's true. I've never heard that say. I think you just made that saying
the most valuable commodity there is.
It is funny though, and you're right about some of this. My dad, who was in commercial real estate for 40 years, legend in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, had a gig a couple of years ago, and they folded up shop as some of these commercial real estate places tend to do, and he started going and working at the food bank. And I was like, oh, that's nice of you, Dad. 1 day a week. Well, now it's gone to 2. Now it's 3. Now it's basically a full-time thing. And so while he's not actually cutting checks to them, what he's doing is going down there and giving his actual, which, by the way, I'm more of the I'll just cut a check guy. But I admire that very much. That is true servitude, and that's hard to do. And now he's in a different position. He doesn't have 2 little kids running around. He has before, but he doesn't anymore. So he's got a little bit more time to do that. But anybody that does things like that, I have a great amount of respect for, because it's not easy to do. So you don't really do either.
Well, I prefer to give. Sometimes I'll MC an event.
Yes,
use my skills that way to help promote and help a charity or an organization. Tonight, for instance, is our big ABC 10 News Month of a Million Meals drive that benefits Feeding San Diego.
Yes,
where we
I
have
love
all
this.
the celebrities come in studio, and
Didn't ask me again.
We have the phone bank, and it's open. I don't organize it. I would have. I mean, if they said, "Hey, could Woods come in?" I would definitely use my time to ask you to come in, and
which would kind of be like you,
which is
like you contributing. I got
exactly.
Woods here.
I got Woods here. I contributed. I gave by giving Woods.
Have you ever answered the phones? You have.
I have.
Yeah,
I have.
Are you doing it tonight?
I don't know what the plan is.
Okay.
I'll see when I get there.
That's a good thing you guys do.
What's going? But yeah, they do that every month, and it started with the goal was 1 million meals, and it only takes 25 cents in donations, or at least when we started, to actually put together a meal for someone who is hungry. So $1 would be 4 meals.
Yeah.
So essentially, raise $250,000. That's 1 million meals. In recent years, we still call it a month of 1 million meals, but we started raising 2 million and then up to 3 million.
Oh yeah, dude.
I don't even know what we're up to now, but with the the hunger and homelessness issues here in San Diego, it's definitely a huge thing. And I think John Shea, who's with Lucky Duck, is also the Feeding San Diego CEO as well, or was at some point. So it's all connected and tied in. Dan Shea. I'm sorry, not John. Dan.
Also Adam's favorite band.
Dan and Shea.
It all comes full circle here on Ben Woods. We actually have a ton to get to today. We got audio from the skipper. Ben will set the menu. We've lost somebody. He's still alive. He just got another job in another market. And I'd say when I saw the news yesterday, I was pretty disappointed.
I'm once again the top Higgy in town.
You are, finally. Yeah.
Not that happy about it.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, you didn't slide into anything, okay? You earned it. Cougar lost the edge, turned in his wings. Now you're number 1.
Higgy was a good man.
He was a good man. Still is a good man. Yeah, still is a good man. Yeah.
Still is.
Where was Higgy while you were showboating with this MiG is what I want to know. Okay?
He's doing fine.
He was doing just fine. I'm going to miss Kyle Higashioka. We'll talk about him.
Oh, man.
We'll go back through some highlights of our scene with Kyle, certainly. And we actually have a lot to get to. Rob Manfred's lost his mind, all that. It's going to be a good one today.
Happy Let's Hug Day. Happy National Green Bean Casserole Day. And happy Giving Tuesday. Let's check traffic with Kelly Danick, and then we'll be right back with our menu setting and more. Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Actually, I have a little breaking sports news. Early this morning, the NFL has announced a 3-game suspension for Houston Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair for his hit on Trevor Lawrence of the Jags over the weekend. John Runyon, the NFL's vice president of football operations, released the statement, quote, "You were involved in a play that the NFL considers unacceptable and a serious violation of the playing rules. Video shows you striking the head neck area of Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence after he clearly goes down in a feet-first slide. You led with your forearms and helmet and delivered a forceful blow to the head neck area of your opponent when you had time and space to avoid such contact." Also goes through some of the past infractions that Al-Shaair has been penalized for, late hits, fighting.
Yeah.
He's got into the brawl after that. He was part of the escalation of all of it that happened on the field. So the NFL, as you'd expect.
That's a significant suspension.
It
Yeah,
is,
taking this one pretty seriously and sending a message. Even I was going, 3 games. I mean,
Yeah, I thought 1.
I was certainly expecting a 1-game suspension, but a 3-game suspension that's a statement that the NFL is making.
Repeat offender. I think that has to be factored in as well. And so he'll sit 3 games, which is fairly big.
He did apologize yesterday, but apologies don't fix Trevor Lawrence's brain injury.
No.
Those kind of linger and things that you're trying to get out of the game of football. Which so maybe a 3-game suspension will serve as a warning to other players who might not be so cautious when it comes to the sliding quarterback.
This is funny because it popped in my head, too. J to the J.O. says, ironic that known dirty player John Runyon is now in charge of discipline. I mean, well, I guess who better, right?
He likes being an enforcer.
That's
this
why
is how he does it in his post-playing career.
That's why they hire criminals to work in Las Vegas in the film. Where they hire
the Sky Room.
They hire the actual cheaters to go in and look and see, because they know what's dirty and what's
They know
not.
what to look for.
Kind of makes sense, actually, if you think about it. But man, great stuff. Great stuff there.
Also, just after the show yesterday, we learned that San Diego State did jump into the top 25 in the rankings in college basketball, number 24 in the AP, just outside the top 25 at number 27 in the coaches poll. They will get back to action tomorrow night when they visit Fresno State in the Mountain West Conference opener. Earliest league game they've ever had.
How's Fresno State so far?
So they have a brand new coach. Obviously, they changed everything. They're a very fast-paced team. They like to run and gun. I don't think they've totally figured it out yet.
Gelled.
But they're dangerous, in terms of you got to be careful. It's a league game. It's a rivalry game.
Yeah.
You're on the road. Any road game in the Mountain West is something you got to take very seriously. Aztecs will clearly be favored. It's a dangerous game because their metrics aren't very good. You lose this one, and
Then you're toast.
It's a bad loss on your resume at the end of the year. So there's a lot of landmines for San Diego State coming up
Makes
in
them
the
fun,
next
though.
few weeks. But so it'll be pressure tomorrow night. Miles Bird was named Mountain West Player of the Week. Farrell Compton was named Freshman of the Week.
Love it, man.
Got some early season momentum for San Diego State basketball. All right, coming up on the program today, as you mentioned, we will talk about the departure of Kyle Higashioka yesterday in free agency. It happened really quickly.
It really did.
Just tweet, hey, he's talking. Tweet, hey, it's done.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Kyle Higashioka. What will the Padres now do at the catching position? They are alarmingly thin behind the plate at this point. A.J. Preller has his time, has his off season, but the options out there aren't particularly rich at the moment. So we will discuss what the Padres are going to do. Also have some audio from the skipper of the San Diego Padres, Mike Schilt, joined the Foul Territory podcast, the one that I've been on a couple of times as well, and talked about A.J. Preller, talked about Jurickson Profar.
Good, my dudes. How you doing?
Good.
Talked about the L.A. Dodgers, among other things, topics that were broached with Mike Schilt yesterday, so we can bring you some of that audio. Had Monday Night Football last night. Was actually kind of a surprisingly entertaining game between the Cleveland Browns and the Denver Broncos.
Wildly entertaining.
Quarterbacks just going back and forth with gigantic plays. You had pick sixes all over the place. And we can talk a little Monday Night Football before Take on Woods and Don't Do This in our 7 o'clock hour. And then some more interesting baseball topics. We've got Rob Manfred.
Oh, my God.
discussing what do they call it? The golden batter, the golden at bat,
Golden at bat.
the golden at bat.
He's
rule.
officially lost
That's
his
being
damn mind.
Woodsy's got the golden ball.
The golden ball right here. I'll ring this when he has a terrible golden idea.
I could argue.
I don't want to hear your edgelord takes. I've already seen a few out there.
I mean, there's a reason why it's being discussed. Will it ever come to bear? I kind of hope not, but I can certainly give you the argument as to why baseball is talking about a massive rule change that would upend a century and a half plus of tradition.
I'm the guy who said a while back that after 3 extra innings, I would be down for a home run derby because there's no chance I'm leaving. If I'm at that game, I'm sticking through it all the way. When you don't know if it's going to go 17 innings or whatever. So I was on board with that, and I know that was never going to happen. This golden at bat, I go, what the hell? I was like scratching my head all day yesterday. I was like, come on.
Savannah Bananas already exist. They exist. So you're good there. If that's the kind of baseball you want to watch, you're set. Now, you guys know me. I'm sometimes old school. I'm sometimes new school, right? But this is a completely horrible, horrible idea. If you haven't heard about it yet, we'll talk about it today. And he was really on a good path. I thought Manfred was. He's made some mistakes, as every commissioner does. But I thought lately, especially, he'd redeemed himself just a little bit in my eyes. And then he goes out and does this.
Well, he hasn't done it.
All right. But he even brings it up.
Sometimes you float trial balloons just to see the reaction, and then you go, okay, that didn't go well. Good. We can shelf that idea. No one likes it. But we can talk about the golden at bat.
Well, we'll float a trial balloon. Should we do the show nude from now on? How's that? We'll throw that out there, see if it goes, because it makes as much sense as this dumb idea.
We also are starting to get a little more talk on Roki Sasaki. We can give you kind of the update there as the Padres certainly expected to be hot in pursuit of the number 1 international free agent, Japanese pitching sensation Roki Sasaki. I meant to mention it yesterday. So when Monday passed, or when Sunday passed into Monday and he hadn't officially been posted, that means now, no matter when he gets posted, he can wait until after January 15th and the new international window opens to sign, which means every team, including the Padres, will have their full international allotment to sign Roki Sasaki. Had he been posted last week, pretty much the Dodgers were the only team that had any money left. Would have been a foregone conclusion that he was going to L.A. Now that he's waited, it does give you an indication that he is probably keeping his options open as to which team he wants to come to.
Is it safe to say that if you see a team in the next couple of weeks spend money on an international...
No.
That they're out?
No, because anything spent now is still for 2024, and this will all be 2025 money.
Now, and that money from 2024, does it carry over? It doesn't.
No.
So if you have it, spend it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's use it or lose it money when it comes to the international signing period.
So that means you're safe. You can spend it because he's not.
And the Padres have already spent all their money essentially for this year. Only the Dodgers had a couple million left over.
Just hoping that he would.
Yeah, everyone's going to have it. So he is available. Had a new piece in The Athletic this morning about Yu Darvish potentially recruiting Roki Sasaki to the Padres, and we can talk about that. And speaking of someone who knows about prospects, I can have our friend Kyle Glaser from Baseball America joining us at 8:35. Kyle announced yesterday, very cool.
This is why I wanted to have him on.
That he has been, whatever it is, long enough in the Baseball Writers, Association or however it works to get his first ever Hall of Fame ballot. Hall of Fame ballots are out now.
Wow.
I think they're due soon. It's announced early next year.
Yeah.
So he's got to, sort through the candidates, make his decision, make his votes, and we can talk to him about what that process is going to look like for a brand new Hall of Fame voter.
My guess is agonizing. Absolutely agonizing.
I would think so.
It would be one if they said, Woodsy, do you want one? I'd be like, no, I don't want it. It's too much pressure. It would take me a month to do it.
I promise you, Kyle won't be one of those guys who goes, empty ballot.
Right. No, he's not going to be one of those
clowns. No one deserves to get in. He won't be one of those guys.
Those clowns exist.
That'll be at 8:35. Reindl Report in our 9 o'clock hour. And we'll go right into Annie and Elston at 10 o'clock. So there's your menu. When we come back, though, the big news yesterday, Padres losing catcher Kyle Higashioka in free agency. Get to that coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Perhaps the thing that I'm most sad about with Kyle Higashioka leaving town for the Texas Rangers is that we now no longer have, to my knowledge, a hair metal fan in the Padres clubhouse. And it was the thing that I bonded with Kyle Higashioka over the most. He used Rat as his walk-up song. My son uses that song, Round and Round, as his walk-up song. Higgy did Lay It Down. And I loved Iron Maiden, loved to shred guitar. So it was a natural fit for me when Higgy got signed here. It was the thing I was most excited about is his love for metal. Now we're left with a bunch of Morgan Wallen fans and, Juice World fans and Migos, and I'm bummed. I feel like I lost an ally.
This was Kyle in studio with us.
During the season, it was like in August.
Shredding on his guitar.
My guitar.
Shredding on Woods' guitar.
Little out of tune.
That's Woods'. That's not Kyle singing.
That's me. Always cross the line. God, he's good, man. Get in our way. We'll put you on your shelves.
So good.
So good.
That's absolutely phenomenal.
I love him.
He's a shredder.
He shreds.
You still got the Trooper in
What
you?
was that? I don't know.
That was Round and Round by Rat. You still have the Trooper?
Yeah.
Oh,
Listen to this.
Iron
The
Maiden.
video I saw that blew my mind.
Iron Maiden. Like 5? Yeah, 5'7". Come on.
That is incredible.
I hope they appreciate that in the Dallas area.
I don't
next
think they
season.
will. Not as much as we did.
Yeah, so I got the details, the contract numbers for Kyle Higashioka, and what does it mean for your San Diego Padres? We'll get to that right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, just one accident to mention here, guys. Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a crash involving a car and a pickup truck northbound 5 before 28th Street. That's got the right lane blocked. And traffic slowly get back to normal on the Coronado Bridge heading over to the island. Accident cleared right past the 5. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So as I mentioned, happened really quickly. Saw John Morosi tweet that the Rangers and Kyle Higashioka were talking, and then about 10 minutes later, all the reporters had it. Ken Rosenthal, Passan, Nightingale, that Kyle Higashioka had agreed to a 2-year deal with the Texas Rangers plus a mutual option for a 3rd year to leave the San Diego Padres. The numbers came out later. Going to be guaranteed $13.5 million essentially.
Okay.
It's like $575, $675, and a $1 million buyout in the 3rd year if he doesn't come back, which is not a huge price in terms of free agent production. He gave you 17 home runs in the regular season, plus, of course, 3 postseason home runs for the San Diego Padres last year. I'm sure the Rangers get anything close to that. They will be very happy with what they're getting from Kyle Higashioka. Now, they already have a catcher. I don't know what their plan necessarily is. They had Jonah Heim.
Yeah.
He did not have a good offensive season last year, though. Higashioka actually had a better one. So whether he's going to be the full-time starter or going to split time behind the plate, what Boch's plan and Chris Young's plan is there, have not heard exactly what it is.
The reports that I read, again, not a great year. Did win a Gold Glove in 2023, Ben. And, good young catcher. But all the reports were like, that dude was beaten down by the end of last season. So Kyle can come in and take a little bit off of his plate, maybe let him DH a little bit because he does have a good bat. I mean, he didn't have a good year last year offensively, but he's a guy they believe in Texas too. So the thing that's interesting to me is, again, everyone has their theories. Everybody has their hypotheses of why the Padres didn't bring him back. One of those is money, right? Do we have the money to even afford that? If they don't, well, I'm really nervous about what we are able to add this season if you can't afford that for Kyle Higashioka. Now, I do think you have to be fair and think to yourself, maybe they didn't want him back. Now, I don't know why they wouldn't. I don't know that shredding the Trooper is really on AJ priority. Yeah, he's a great guitar player, but he was a good catcher for us last year and hit some big home runs. So, like you said, 20 home runs overall, if you count the postseason. Pretty good year, man, for your guy that was expected to be the backup. Stepped in, Campusano struggled, And the thing I wonder, though, is like, is this a better opportunity for Kyle Higashioka? Money aside, like if the Padres could have matched that and they just decided they didn't want to, wasn't he your starter? Weren't you going to be the starting catcher more than likely this season? So you've now taken what everybody assumes is going to be a backup role. Now, you never know. They could be wanting to move Jonah Heim to
as a backup last year.
Exactly. They may want to move Jonah Heim to first base or something. We have no idea what's in their plans. None. So I do think you have to kind of let it play out a little bit. But I will say, man, if you look at it at its very basic level, you go, oh, God, we have no money, right? I think that's a fair thing to look at. Because it's not a lot of cash.
Yeah, I guess you look at it and you go, what's Kyle Higashioka expected to do next season? How do you project him for next year? He had always been, as a backup for the Yankees, a 10-homer guy.
Correct.
10 homers every single season. Solid defensive backup catcher. Had a much better season when pressed into more duty for the Padres. Now, do you think he's going to do that again, or do you think he's going to go back to being, he's just a 220 hitter. He's not an offensive force. He did come up with some clutch home runs, but that's not something that
it's
analytically, at least, you can project that. Oh, well, he's going to hit clutch home runs at least. You don't know that. You got no idea. Going to be 35 next year. He's not a young prospect. He's a veteran guy who's been in the league for over 10 years. He's definitely got some value. I'm glad he got his money.
Yeah.
Did the Padres want to allocate, whatever their resources are toward that? Or are they saving it to go after more pitching, something they think is a more critical area of need? I do know that the Padres need a catcher now, though. The only catchers on their roster right now are Luis Campusano and Brett Sullivan, and, of course, the guys that they have in the minor leagues. And I don't know that any of them are ready to start catching for the Padres in 2025, including Ethan Salas, still just, 18 years old at the moment, going to be 19 next year.
First conclusion that everybody was drawing with the money. The next conclusion would be, are they going to seriously give Ethan Salas a chance
to win this job?
Start the season as the catcher next year?
I mean,
age 14, whatever he is.
14. I've learned covering this team to not take anything off the table. Honestly, I've learned to not take. Who's the best catcher in the league, right? Nothing would surprise me. If AJ pulled off a trade for somebody really good, you mean Adley.
Adley, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Other than that, maybe, right? Nothing surprises me he does. I'm looking at the list of free agent catchers. It doesn't blow your hair back. It's Yasmani Grandal. It's Gary Sanchez. It's Danny Jansen. It's Tucker Barnhart.
Don't forget about Elias Diaz.
So, if you asked me honestly, Woodsy, do you think they're going to give Ethan Salas a shot to catch this season? I would say no. I don't think you can, because he's so young. But he is, again, mature beyond his years, is what we hear about how he handles the pitching staff, right? But he wasn't hitting. He wasn't hitting in low A. So
did have an all-star turn in the Arizona Fall League.
Yep.
I don't know if that's enough to say, oh, he's turned the corner and he's ready to be a big leaguer. That is a massive stretch. From what I've heard, if they had him catching in the big leagues today, defensively,
he'd be fine.
He can handle a pitching staff. He's already worked with some of the Padres' major league pitchers in spring training on rehab assignments. They all rave. Ethan Salas knows what he's doing behind the plate. He can handle himself quite well. The question is, what could he do offensively? You don't need a ton out of a catcher offensively to match at least what the rest of the league is getting.
Right.
220, 10 home runs. Most teams aren't getting much more than that out of their catchers offensively. The problem would be is if he's getting way less than that. If he hits like 140, 4 home runs, and now he's not really developing as an offensive player because he's overmatched, facing big league pitchers every single night,
and handling a staff,
and you're hurting his development offensively because he really should be still facing double A pitchers next year. That would be the concern about accelerating him too quickly to the big league level next year.
Yeah, and it all boils down to this, dude. It's Luis Campusano getting yet seemingly another shot to take the starting catcher role, by the throat and hold on to it for a season, and the fact that they've had to go out and get Sanchez and Caratini. I know that was part of the Yu Darvish deal, and he liked throwing to him. But Sanchez, Plawecki, the list goes on and on. Kyle Higashioka, all of these, it's all because Campy has either gotten injured or didn't perform. And we're going to go into 2025, again, with some good vibes at least. I know you don't like the word momentum, but some good vibes from last year. And Luis Campusano is going to get yet another chance to start and take that job. And we got to see it.
Campy had an over 800 OPS in 2023, but in very limited action because he was hurt.
He was hurt.
In 2024, that OPS was down to like 600.
Yeah.
It was awful.
It never...
Saw a video of a big home run he hit for his Dominican League team this week, but the numbers haven't even been good in the Dominican League. 237 average, 250 on base percentage. It's offensively really, really poor. So I don't know that the Padres are counting on Luis Campusano.
Well, they are now.
Well, at the moment.
Today.
I can almost assure you that A.J. Preller isn't going, no, we're good. We got Sully as our backup. We've got Campy as our starter. We're good to go. There's a couple other names in the minor leagues. Brandon Valenzuela is one that may be an option in terms of graduating out of the system.
Because it doesn't do anything for me.
Nothing does anything for you until you've actually seen it, though, in the big leagues. Honestly, it's that's always the rule. I wouldn't expect Brandon Valenzuela to be Rookie of the Year next year in Major League Baseball, but until you've seen these guys in the big leagues, you're never going to know. So.
Are you in a position to experiment at all, really, with any roster positions when you're trying to keep this small window of contention open?
You're always in a position to do some experimentation.
Well, yeah,
as long as
it's not set in stone.
As long as you have a backup plan and can pivot if it's not working out. It was an experiment to put Jackson Merrill. It was a huge experiment to put Jackson Merrill in center field last year. Glad they did it. Glad they experimented. Worked out brilliantly for the San Diego Padres. So you can't be afraid to take a couple of chances. The problem is when all of a sudden at 5 positions you're taking some chances and experimenting. That's usually when you've got a 4th place or a last place team on your hands.
Carlos says bring Hedges back home. No, he re-signed with the Guardians for $4 million. So. Again, would Ethan Salas provide as much offensively as Austin Hedges? I think the answer is unquestionably yes, he would. Does that mean that that's the wisest move? Here's the thing, guys, and don't take this the wrong way. You don't know, and I don't know. I don't know how to build a baseball team. I don't know when to look at a player and go, he's ready. Or he may not quite be ready, but we're going to see what he's got, right? I don't know when that the case is. I thought they were insane for putting Jackson Merrill in center field. I did. I absolutely thought it was an insane move. And look how well that worked out. I can't say the same for Campy or for Ethan Salas because I just don't know. I don't know his makeup. I've heard things. Again, he's been rushed along. There's no question he's been rushed along in every stage of his development. Maybe
last year they were a little more cautious. They just left him in high single A all year long. They didn't do
the year before.
They put him up to double A at the end of the year, and that definitely
give him a taste.
Definitely pressed him a little bit.
But maybe that was all part of the plan to have him make his debut at 18, 19 years old and 25.
And what A.J. Preller has always said when he's been asked is that the player tells us when they're ready.
Yes.
We don't tell the player, hey, you have to be ready. The player will tell us. So, if they go by their own evaluation system, I'm sure Ethan Salas will be at spring training. He's been invited the last couple of years, so he'll be there. And if Ethan Salas tells the Padres he's ready with his play, the way he carries himself, at spring training, everything's looking really good. His teammates go, hey, we want this guy on our team. We think he's ready. Then I wouldn't be surprised if he's your opening day catcher. But if he's out there scuffling and, can't hit major league pitching in spring training, if the Padres are being honest with themselves, then they say, we got to send him back to the minors. He needs another year of seasoning likely before he'll be ready for the big league level. Can they do that given their current situation at catcher? Well, that's AJ's job to make sure you've got a backup plan if Ethan Salas is not, telling you he's ready for the big leagues.
I'm looking up. I remember Pudge Rodriguez because I grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I remember his debut. I want to say he was like 19 when he debuted, and he burst on the scene like nobody. And there's similarities there. Rocket for an arm, but Pudge, I think Pudge hit. I mean, Pudge always hit too. So yeah, man, if the bat gets figured out a little bit, Benny, who knows? Who knows? What, maybe one more year.
And Salas's bat does project pretty well.
It does.
In terms of what, minor league evaluators say about him. It's not ready yet, or at least it didn't look like it was ready last year. A little more during the Arizona Fall League, but again, that's a small sample size.
Now, let's be honest. It's a marketing dream, to be honest. It's a marketing dream to have that kid make his debut opening day of next season.
Remember at the start of last year, Ethan Salas had better odds to win the Rookie of the Year than Jackson Merrill did.
100%.
All right, we'll come back. A little Monday Night Football from last night. Take on Woods, chance to qualify for our trip to Las Vegas, and more. Don't go away. It's 97.3, The Fan. Got some more breaking news as we start hour number 2 of Ben and Woods on a Tuesday morning. This time, a local story. San Diego Wave FC announced this morning that club president Jill Ellis is stepping down from her role effective immediately.
Wow.
So what a change this past year. Fired their coach, Casey Stoney. Then Landon Donovan came in on an interim basis. He's not sticking around, so they're looking for a new head coach and now a new club president. It was announced that Jill Ellis actually leaving to become the head of football at FIFA. But this also, helps wipe the slate clean for an organization that had 2 great seasons to start. Yep. And then this last year was really a disaster. Yeah. I mean, they went from the best record in the league to missing the playoffs. They were hounded by, accusations from former employees of a toxic work environment under Ellis, which she has denied. And, that has nothing's been proven or played out in, at a courtroom yet, but it's certainly something that the organization has had to deal with, repeatedly answer questions about over this last year. So going into 2025, going to be a new direction for the San Diego Wave of the National Women's Soccer League as Jill Ellis steps down from her role after putting together the team for its first 3 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, based on a lot of the things that came out last year, I think there's probably a lot of people that are happy about that decision this morning. So I think you wipe the slate clean, start fresh, and could be a really good thing.
Sometimes you just need that fresh start.
Yeah.
Whatever the actual facts of a situation are, it just becomes so untenable that a fresh start's what's needed for everybody. So we'll see how they move forward. We'll get back to some baseball talk in a little bit. We still have that audio from Mike Schilt on the Foul Territory podcast yesterday, and going to talk about the Golden at-bat. Woodsy very, very vehemently against the Golden at-bat idea.
What are we doing here?
Last night's football game was a pretty decent one. I didn't have high hopes with the Cleveland Browns, who are also Rans, against the Denver Broncos, who are largely a product of a very weak schedule. I think they have the easiest schedule in football. The Broncos and the Chargers have taken advantage of the 2 easiest schedules in football to be right now in wild card position in the AFC, and the Broncos continue to take advantage of that schedule last night, but ended up being a wild game at Mile High. Back and forth, turnovers, touchdowns, which makes for, fun football to watch. You had
a 93-yard touchdown from Denver.
And then right back to Judy on a 80-yarder. I mean, just like seconds apart. You just have these longest touchdowns. Jameis Winston put together one of the most unique stat lines I think you'll ever see in a National Football League game. 497 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, but also 3 interceptions and 2 pick sixes.
That's insane.
I mean, he was the best player for both teams.
Yeah,
last night on the field.
Slung it 62 times last night. Dropped back to throw 62 times. He was 34 of 58. I mean, holy smokes!
Did you hear his quote after the game?
Yeah.
I know I'm better than this. I know. I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes.
Yeah. I mean, when in doubt.
So, and Bo Nix, who had, 294, touchdown, 2 interceptions, not as though he had a Hall of Fame type game, but he's definitely shown some promise this year. That throw to Mims, the 93-yard touchdown. I mean, that was like Elway.
Yeah, didn't break stride.
The arm strength is there.
Had some drops, too.
Nix.
Had some drops that were like through dimes, and Cortland Sutton dropped one that was right in his breadbasket, man. Dropped that one. That was an easy, huge gain. So he's fun, man. He's a fun quarterback to watch. He always has been. And looks like Denver finally, after many, many years of just running through the quarterback mill, has found a guy that they can count on, and he's playing really well. Yeah, weak schedule be damned. It's still the NFL and the best competition in the world.
I would still be so nervous if I was a Broncos fan.
For Bo Nix?
You've seen guys come in and be pretty flashy in their first year.
That's true.
First half of a year. I mean...
But you feel better.
They just ruin quarterbacks.
It feels like both teams. That's two organizations that are just known for ruining quarterbacks. And hey, listen,
Jameis had a nice little resurgence.
They said it on the broadcast last night. I think Troy Aikman said it. Like you got to cut bait with Deshaun Watson and make Jameis Winston your star. He's done, but this season. But you got to cut bait moving forward.
Yeah, but they can't cut him.
They have to eat.
They can't. They literally,
they can't cut him.
From what I've seen, like Andrew Brandt goes, I've looked at the contract. Literally, if they cut him, they would not be able to pay anyone else. They would have no team because of all the dead money that would be accelerated. They'd have like $5 left to pay their other 52 players. Wow. So he has to be on the team next year.
Super smart move there, guys.
You don't have to play him, obviously, but he has to be on your team next year. You can't trade him. You can't cut him. It is the worst contract perhaps in the history of professional sports, and there's nothing they can do about it. I mean, in baseball, at least you can cut a guy and
just
go,
eat it. We'll
just eat it. We'll eat 3 years. We've seen players, Eric Hosmer, we've seen teams eat years of salary, and they just move on, and it's distasteful, and you just have to do it. In the NFL, with the way the cap works, you can't even do that. I mean, you can say, hey, we'll trade you, and we'll pay some of the salary. There's no possibility of getting rid of Deshaun Watson. I don't know when, if it's 1 more year or 2 more years, but there's nothing they can do about it.
How much longer is he under contract?
I have no idea.
Many years.
It's a long,
right? It's a
but I have no idea how many more years before they can actually
pay him off,
cut him, pay him off, and then try to move on with dead money.
Yeah,
but it's not next year. He'll be back next year.
He signed a 5-year deal.
Fun game last night.
1, 2, yeah.
And they covered, which was lovely.
Almost didn't
at the end.
Had an interception in the end zone late. That was the difference.
Cleveland had the ball on the 2-yard line after the pass interference, and then James threw another pick.
So after, if they hadn't been pass interference and they'd gone down the field, Jameis Winston could have set the all-time single-game passing record. Over 500 yards in a game. I think Matt Schaub had the record. Could have 5 touchdowns. I mean, would have had the greatest game in history and a loss, potentially. Need a contestant for Take on Woods here. We had a winner yesterday qualifying for the trip to Las Vegas.
We had a tie
getaway.
yesterday.
We had a tie.
Yeah, it was a tie.
We had a qualifier yesterday.
Thank you.
833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Call in now. Get online. We're going to play in about 2 or 3 minutes. So the Denver Broncos now 8-5. They are 2 games ahead of the Indianapolis Colts for that last playoff spot. The Broncos have not made the playoffs since Peyton Manning was their quarterback in 2015.
Lord.
It's been nearly a decade since the Broncos have been in the postseason, and unless there's a huge change, we know the playoff teams are pretty much set in the AFC. Chiefs, Bills, Steelers, Texans, Chargers, Ravens, Broncos. Those are your 7 right now. No one else is within 2 games of them. The Colts are 6-7. The Dolphins are 5-7. Both of them would have to go on some big winning streak probably and get some help ahead of them to even have a chance maybe at a tiebreaker at the end of the year. So pretty clear who the playoff teams are on that side. And you know what? It's fairly clear in the other than who's going to win the NFC South, whether it's the Falcons or the Bucks, Lions, Eagles, Seahawks, Vikings, Packers, Commanders, likely your playoff teams, and then whoever wins the probably the Seahawks or the Cardinals, I guess, if whoever wins those 2 divisions. But the playoff races aren't shaping up as particularly interesting ones in the NFL this year.
No, it's not. It doesn't look like it's going to come down to the wire. I mean, things can change. Weird stuff happens, but I mean, you kind of have an idea of what we're looking at moving forward, and certainly there's the couple of teams you look at and go, man, stay out of your own way, and this could be your year. The Bills being one of them. The Chiefs, well, they turn it on.
The race
Lions,
for home field advantage is
a good
huge.
one. Yep.
The bye in the first round with the Chiefs and the Bills, and then the Eagles and the Lions. Those are probably the most interesting battles over the last month of the season here.
Yep, 100%.
All right, looks like we got a contestant on the line. Let's get to it. It is time to take on Woods. Looks like James is going to be our contestant today. Take on Woods is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. Good morning, James. How are you?
Good morning. A little sad to say farewell to Higgy.
Me too. I think we're all feeling that way, but wishing him the best with the Texas Rangers next season. Hey, at least he gets to go to spring training with Skip Schumacher next year, and Chris Young and Boch. I think he's gonna like it there.
Take care of him
in Texas. All right, here are your category choices today, James. We got prog rock, progressive rock bands. We got That's Not True, lie in every answer, and we got freewheeling. Yesterday we had a free category. This is an all 2-second song free category. So prog rock, that's not true, freewheeling. If you can beat or tie Woods, 5 questions of musical trivia, you will qualify for our grand prize drawing. 2-night stay at the Westgate, Las Vegas, 2 tickets to Soul of Motown, and a $150 food and beverage credit. Check out the $70 million in room renovations at the Westgate and get your tickets for Soul of Motown at westgateresorts.com. All right, prog rock, that's not true, or freewheeling, James. What would you like to play?
Freewheeling.
All right, we're going with the all 2-second song category. Paulie put this together for me last night. All song titles begin with free, F-R-E-E. So that's how you got to do it. Again, we've got all five 2-second songs, which means you need to identify the song title and the artist each time to score the point. You can always pass. We'll come back to the song if you have time left at the end of the clock. James, are you ready to play?
Let's go.
All right, you've got everything queued up, Paulie?
I'm ready.
All right, let's put 60 seconds on the clock. Again, the category is freewheeling. 2-second songs coming up. Your time begins when Paulie plays the music. Good luck, James. Let's take on Woods.
Pass.
Go to song number 2.
Freeze frame, J. Giles Band.
Correct. Song number 3.
Free falling, Tom Petty.
Correct. Song number 4.
Pass.
Go to song number 5.
That's Freeway of Love.
Bye.
We'll come back for the
All right,
end.
go
We'll
back to our
number
first
1.
song. Yep.
Free Bird, Leonard Skinner.
Correct. Go to song number 4.
Gotta go quick.
Try that artist for song number 5. Time is up. We did get 3 there. Got Free Bird by Leonard Skinner, Freeze Frame, J. Giles Band, and Free Fallin' by Tom Petty. We also had Free Ride by the Edgar Winter Group and Free Way of Love by Aretha Franklin. You're so close on that one. So 3 is the score. James's score is locked in. Woodsy does not get the category, although I will let him know. All 2-second songs.
Okay.
You know how it works?
I do.
60 seconds back on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on James.
That's Freebird by Leonard Skinner.
Correct. Song number 2.
J. Giles Band. I'll come back to it.
Song number 3.
It's Free Fallin', Tom Petty.
Correct. Song number 4.
Pass.
Song number 5.
We can't remember that one.
Song number 2.
Freeze Frame, J. Giles Band.
Correct. Song number 4.
Something free. Crap.
Song number
I
5.
don't know what else. I'm out.
Really?
I'm out. Another time. Free Taint.
You missed the same 2 that James didn't get. You got Free Ride by
Free Ride.
the Edgar Winter Group.
I was going to say Fog Hat.
And Freeway of Love
Aretha
by
Franklin.
Aretha Franklin.
Ah!
James, good job. You have qualified, just like yesterday's winner.
Damn it.
Guy did for our getaway to Las Vegas.
Is this
Stay on
what a
the line,
soccer
Paulie.
fan feels like? Just
Tie.
tie after tie.
Tie.
Sorry, draw
Tie.
after draw. It's just
Maybe
terrible.
that's my fault. Maybe I either make them too easy or too
Damn it.
hard, so you always get the same ones that the contestant gets. I try to increase the difficulty as
Yeah,
we
you're
go
good.
down the list.
You did fine. I
mean, you recognized the song.
Yeah.
Just didn't come to you.
Yep.
And you figured out the category. Everything started with free. F-R-E-E.
Yep. Good category.
James,
Well
good
done.
work.
Good job, James.
You are in for the drawing. We will have another game for you tomorrow. Next, though, we will have a little Don't Do This, including an NFL player who blamed his teammate's girlfriend for his problems on the field.
It actually makes sense once you hear about it.
It is weird, but
We've all done this.
It does. It's true.
Yeah, we've all done this.
It's coming up next after a check of traffic with Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan.
That is my dope.
All right, hit me. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Before we start Don't Do This with a food story, I will let you know this segment of Ben and Woods is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is football. Hey, San Diego sports fans, head to your local Buffalo Wild Wings. Try their new maple chipotle sauce for rich maple sweetness and a mild, smoky chipotle heat. Or for a bit of kick, check out the new Cajun sauce with a rich blend of spicy, tangy peppers. Stop by your San Diego B-Dubs or order now for takeout and delivery with Buffalo Wild Wings. Go. Maybe Najee Harris should have gone with B-Dubs for Thanksgiving instead of what he did end up choosing. Woods?
Yeah, the Steelers took on the Bengals on Sunday. Thanksgiving was on Thursday.
Correct.
But Najee Harris had some, I guess, bubble guts a little bit before the game on Sunday, and he was sidelined early in the team's matchup against the Bengals. And they asked him why, and he said, well, Thanksgiving, Pat Fryermuth's girlfriend, Jill, she made some fire-ass little banana thing, and I had too much. I guess I didn't know that it affected me until the first drive. He ate a few orange slices to recover and finished the game with 129 yards, 75 rushing, 54 receiving.
Bananas are known to be, I believe, constipating
So the opposite
sort of
bubble
food.
guts.
That's what I've heard, at least. Now, it does. I would normally think banana. I would think dessert, like a banana pudding or banana cream pie. But when you say a fire-ass little banana thing, that makes me feel it's more of a side dish or something with a meal.
Well, fire ass just means it was tasty.
Not spicy.
No.
I looked up banana dishes for Thanksgiving. I did see like a mashed sweet
fire
potato
ass,
and
whatever.
Yeah, like fire
You
ass.
think it was dessert?
Yeah, 100%.
He had too much banana dessert.
Like a good ass.
Like a good
burger.
ass banana pudding that she made. And he ate he ate too much of it.
Fire
but again,
ass banana cream pie.
But again, on Thursday, when he went over to his teammate's house, and his girlfriend Jill made this delicious banana dish, and he just wolfed it down. It affected him so much that they played.
It's good to know that I can handle my food better than a well-tuned athlete
That's
can
true.
handle his. I would have no problem
None.
eating a ton of banana dessert. I'd be fine.
I ate damn near a whole tray of the Jell-O with the cream cheese filling on top.
Jell-O mold salad.
My mother-in-law made it. She goes,
Is that what you have? So we have the ambrosia salad, which is
Which
the
I will also
marshmallows and the little mandarin orange, canned mandarin
coconut in
oranges,
there.
and I don't do the coconut, but pineapple and
Pineapple.
orange, like a sour cream sauce.
Yes, any sort of
I love the
Jell-O
ambrosia
mold,
salad.
I'm in. I ate a damn near a whole tray of it, which I do every
gonna
year.
do
Lime
mold.
Jello or
No,
Good.
raspberry.
Yeah, there you go. That's
Yeah,
better.
delicious.
I'm gonna need the Jello mold of some sort at the extravaganza.
Remember the
Someone-
Jello that would separate into like the creamier layer
Yes,
and the less?
yes.
I loved that one.
Somebody
too.
make a
That
Jell-O
was so
mold.
good.
If you're
Send
coming
it in.
to the Christmas show, just bring it with you. Ooh,
All right.
I promise you, I could eat the whole tray
My
before
mom
the
would make
thing's
the
over.
most simple dessert. It was just like a strawberry Jello, but she'd cut up some strawberries to put it inside,
Correct.
and then you put a little
That cream
whipped cream or
cheese. Oh, my
something,
God.
some sort of topping on
It's
top.
called
Oh my
kicking it up a
God.
notch.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yes, all day.
All right, I will. I'm going to take to task, and just to be fair, we get a lot of our stories for Don't Do This from places like TMZ.
Yeah.
TMZ Sports.
This was all over Twitter yesterday, too, though.
But at some point, you have to question whether a story is actually a story.
Correct.
And they posted this story about Yankees Jazz Chisholm. Bronx boozer drinks, smokes during Miami Beach getaway. So
What in the
it's a
world?
picture of him sitting out like
By
by the
pool.
pool, and he's got a bucket with looks like some tequila in it. And I mean this story reads like it's breaking news. Jazz Chisholm's plan to get over the Yankees World Series loss apparently includes some drinking and smoking. Check out these photos of the New York Star while he was vacationing in Miami Beach over the weekend. You can see he wasn't shy about puffing on what appeared to be a joint while downing a Casamigos-fueled cocktail. Wearing nothing but some board shorts.
He's at a pool.
He's
On
sprawled
vacation.
out
He's
on a
on vacation.
Luxury Resorts lounge chair and flashed a big grin as he sipped his drink and blew out swaths of smoke.
It's unbelievable.
Remember, the MLB removed marijuana from its banned substances list years ago, so no problems with Rob Manfred here if that's what it is. Dun, dun, dun.
I'm not even joking. When I
Wait,
saw
Chisholm was also surrounded by some happy ladies, too.
guy's living his best life.
So you're saying he was on vacation?
He's on vacation, having a blast.
This is the story.
Ganja, a.k.a. cannabis.
Jazz Chisholm went on vacation and did things that people on vacation do.
Big bomba class, little boy, dynamic.
It looks like Jazz was having the time of his life.
Chisholm hasn't gone into hiding since the L. He's actually been spotted at a few Knicks games throughout November.
My wife saw him, remember? She saw him when she was at the Knicks game.
So you're saying he has a life, and during his free off season,
Has a
goes
cocktail
on
and smokes weed.
vacation.
He goes on vacation.
Oh,
Also,
my God, I'm high.
when he goes to the pool, he only wears board shorts. It's incredible.
What a monster Jazz Chisholm is.
I'm not kidding when I saw it. I'm not kidding. Our beloved Emily Nyman, Yankee fan, tweeted about this. Like, bro, who cares? And somebody's like, I care. He hit 160 in the playoffs. He needs to be in the cages. I was like, oh, boy. It never, ever ceases to amaze me. Yeah. He has a life outside of baseball, and he looked like he was having. I was so
amazing.
jealous when I saw it. I went, God, that looks like fun. Sitting by the pool, smoking a joint, having a Casamigos margarita.
Ganja, a.k.a. cannabis.
Gets me.
That's one of the all-time greatest.
It
drops.
literally
It
is one of
kills
the
me
best
every
things
time.
ever. All right, and then I got a nice do this.
DD mega doo-doo.
You know, on senior day, colleges across the nation, the senior class will often walk out with their parents. You know, if their parents are alive, one parent, whatever, it doesn't matter. Always walk out with their parents. Well, Jimmy Horn Jr. is a Colorado Buffalo and good receiver. And his father is actually serving time in prison on a drug-related charge. And I thought this was a really sweet move. He didn't have anybody to walk out with him because he was raised by his dad. He was a single dad. And so Deion Sanders grabbed him by the arm and walked out with him on senior day, which I thought was just so cool. And he's actually campaigning, Deion is, and stays in touch with his father. You know, again, had a kind of a rough go, drug-related charge. He's been in jail for a long time. Deion's campaigned on his half to get him out. But I thought that was a really cool and special move to walk him out there on senior day, take him by the arm and say, I got you, man, which I thought was really sweet. You can think what you want about Deion. He's people go hot and cold on him, but at the end of the day, I think...
Yeah, that's a perfect description.
They do.
You go hot and cold, but he certainly does some things right.
He really
There's
does,
no doubt
dude.
about that.
He really, really does. And I thought this was a real... You know, it's something you'd want if that happened to you. You know, somebody taking care of your son while you're away or, you know, not around anymore. And I think he definitely, genuinely loves his players.
I still, through now almost 2 full seasons of Deion, at least at Colorado, I think I say he's a good coach.
Absolutely.
I think just about any school would be lucky to have him.
Yep.
He does things differently.
He does.
And
that bothers people.
it doesn't really matter what sport, what job, whatever. If you come in and you shake things up and you do things differently, people aren't going to like it necessarily.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah, but his team improved from year 1 to year 2.
Yep.
I
Sure
mean, that's a clear sign
They
that you're doing
improved
something right.
day 1 before he even,
And they did
the day
as
he
well.
even got there.
Well, and they, you know, they were, I think, an Iowa State loss away from making, you know, having a chance to play in their conference championship game. I mean, they had a couple of bad losses, but they had a couple of big wins too, man. And they're obviously a team that's in the news quite a bit. But the way that he talks to his players, the way that he actually coaches, when I watch his post-game stuff is so inspiring to me. So inspiring. He says all the right things. And, again, he does things a little bit differently, and you can think what you want about him as a person. But as a football coach, I think he loves his players a lot.
And that is Don't and Do This for a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, coming up, why our boss, Adam Klug, wishes Woods would be more like Mike Schiltz. Next on 97.3 The Fan. got some big news for listeners of 97.3 The Fan. Across all time slots. Next week, during baseball's winter meetings in Dallas, we will have an embedded reporter on the scene. You might know him. His name is Sam Levitt. He will be in Dallas, here in Dallas, for the winter meetings and joining us every day, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, with any breaking Padres news, interviews, talking to insiders, and just kind of, you know what you do when you're at the winter meetings. You're in the convention room, halls with everybody. You hear what's going on, and Sammy's going to be our lifeline to Dallas next week, since we can't be there ourselves.
We could. Yeah.
I mean, we've been to the winter meetings, just when they've been here.
Right. But I enjoyed the winter meetings
But
immensely.
Apparently, Odyssey and our boss Adam didn't want to send everybody, all the shows to Dallas.
Be due for a return to San Diego here soon, right?
I would think so. Yeah,
it was like every
2 years ago.
2 years.
Yeah, it's probably coming back soon.
2021 or 22.
As Brandon says, so his name will now be Winter Meeting Sammy.
That's right.
Yeah, hopefully he gets a chance. I don't know what his feelings are on barbecue. I don't know. I mean, he's from New York. So I don't know. He obviously wasn't embedded in him growing up like it was me, but there's so many good places.
If I went
out
to
there.
Dallas with you, where would you take me?
Terry Black's.
Terry Black's.
I mean, and I wouldn't even think twice about it. Terry Black's. We'd probably eat there every day. It's phenomenal barbecue. Very expensive, but yeah, there's a couple of cool things to do there.
Quality meats always are.
Oh man, and I don't know where are they doing it? Is it in Dallas or is it out in Grapevine? Or,
that's a good question. Probably at one of like the
big giant
hotels, the Gaylord resorts, wherever
yeah.
those are. So,
well, listen, anytime we get a chance to catch up with Sammy Levitt, I'm always down to do that.
But you'll probably hear from him 3 times a day at least, across all shows next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, live from baseball's winter meetings.
Can't wait.
Now, will there be any breaking news and headlines? We don't know. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't.
I think
from the
answer is yes. They have to. They'll get some stuff done. Some stuff's, I mean, it's already been, look, for baseball, there's already been, I guess in baseball, you would consider it a flurry of activity. I mean, there's guys off the market right now. So.
And it feels like Juan Soto's getting closer. I mean, the reports yesterday were that the Blue Jays are believed to be making the best offers. So if it's truly, the record money that he wants, Toronto may be his destination. Now, I don't, whether that's when you count, Canadian tax rates and stuff like that, whether he ends up with the most money in Toronto or wants to stay in New York or do something else, I have no idea. But the talk around the league is that the Blue Jays are going to offer, quote unquote, the most money to Juan Soto.
Yeah.
Which has to put them in a pretty good position.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can definitely see that as a fit. I still, even though that guy said it would happen on Thanksgiving, I still think Boston is going to I think they're my sleeper team. I just think he's a perfect fit there. And again, moving him to left field it'd be such a no-brainer, and him hitting in that ballpark would be insane.
All right, speaking of our boss, Adam, why is it that he would like you to be more like...
Is it extra sweet because it's against the Dodgers?
Mike Schilt. I will explain after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Scratchers from the California Lottery. Give the gift of play this holiday. Well, guys, the only problem we're working with right now is southbound 15 near the 8. Got an overturned cement truck blocking that right lane, so you can see some activity around that. If you're looking for the perfect gift, give Scratchers from the California Lottery. With so many to choose from, you're sure to find the right gift for anyone on your list. Give the gift of Scratchers from the California Lottery. A little play can make your day. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So Mike Schilt yesterday appeared on the Foul Territory YouTube program /podcast with AJ Brzezinski and crew. Been on it with them a couple of times before and discussed some of the offseason issues for the San Diego Padres. But the clip that seemed to make the rounds the most was Mike Schilt talking about, his supervisor, as it were, Padres president of baseball operations, general manager, AJ Preller. Now,
he's a stud.
Now you don't speak quite as glowingly about Adam Klug as Mike Schilt did about his boss, AJ Preller. In this clip.
I don't speak this glowingly about my children.
That's a good point. If you haven't heard it, here's Mike Schilt on AJ Preller.
Yeah, no, he's doing something. This cat, you know him, AJ. I mean, our man Preller, he sleeps very little. He plays a little hoops, and then he is looking to dominate every day on behalf of the Padres. So, yeah, does he have something up his sleeve? He's got stuff up both sleeves, down his pants, in his shoes. I mean, he's got stuff going on everywhere. This cat is always getting after it. So, I couldn't even begin to keep up with hardly any of it. I just tell him when he gets close to something, let me know, and he'll call to run something by me as far as makeup of a player or just thoughts on a player. But he's a force of nature, man. So he's going to do everything he can within the parameter he's given to give us a competitive club.
I'd like to be referred just once in my life as this cat. I don't think anyone's
Oh,
ever.
I'll start doing it.
Can you do that?
Oh, this cat.
This cat.
This cat. All right, that's done.
Let me tell you why this cat pissed me off last night.
This is great. Let's make fun of this cat for a minute.
That's usually That's a pretty good thing. If someone calls you this cat, this cat.
Now, most Zoom clips that we've seen so far this offseason, Mike Schilt has been here in San Diego in his office, somewhere around Petco Park. That looked more like maybe a home in North Carolina.
He did say after all the meetings and everything, he was planning on going back for the holidays.
Remember, he said he's going to play 9 holes.
Just 9
Yep,
by
just
himself.
9 by himself.
Little music.
Yeah, little music.
He was talking, though, as if A.J. Preller was sitting in the hallway around the corner, like listening.
His ear with a glass. Just a ear.
Just ear.
You better say something nice about it. Yeah.
You've never said anything that nice about a boss, your kids, anyone, really. I mean, that dude loves him some A.J. Preller.
And the thing
is he just being smart? Like, hey, this is my guy. I better stay on his good side.
I want to hear it again.
All right.
Hang on 1 second. Up.
No, he's doing something. This cat, you know him, AJ. I mean, our man Preller, he sleeps very little.
My man Preller.
He plays a little hoops, and then he is looking to dominate every day on behalf of the Padres. So, yeah, does he have something up his sleeve? He's got stuff up both sleeves, down his pants, in his shoes. I mean, he's got stuff going on everywhere. This cat is always getting after it. So, I couldn't even begin to keep up with hardly any of it. I just tell him when he gets close to something, let me know, and he'll call to run something by me as far as makeup of a player or just thoughts on a player. But he's a force of nature, man. So he's going to do everything he can within the parameter he's given to give us a competitive club.
So that clip, when I saw it, I went, all right, there's a couple of different feelings. The first one was, oh hell yeah, what's
I saw a lot of people
sleeve?
fired up
Yes.
by that particular quote from Mike Schilt.
But then the devil and the angel on my shoulder was like, oh, I hope this quote doesn't come back to bite him and us and everybody else in the ass when, we don't add big, great pieces or trade for any pieces. And look, I mean, you need teams to want to deal with you. You have to have something they want. I think we do. I think there's chips that people would be interested in. How's it all going to work? Again, I don't think anybody's ever questioned A.J. Preller's commitment to the team. I don't get the sense from our GM that anybody has ever questioned, like, this guy's always on vacation. He's always not working, right? No, it's almost the other way. Like, hey, bro, you need to take a little breather. Relax a little bit, but it's not. That's how he's wired. He is all of those things that he just described.
Nothing's changed this offseason.
No, not a thing's changed.
A.J. Preller every single year
He's trying to cook, dude.
has done something large.
Yeah.
Whether it's trade, giant free agent signing, sometimes both. It always comes during the offseason. I don't think there's any reason to think that A.J. won't shock us at least once between now and the start of spring training.
And he did say he has something down his pants, right?
Yes.
He did say that.
And in his shoes, both sleeves. Plays a little basketball and then looks to dominate.
Yeah, I love
That's
it.
what he does. So,
What else did he say?
For me, I just, that clip went out, and then, I don't know, an hour later,
Higgy's
Higgy
gone.
signs
I
for
know.
like $11 million, and I'm like, okay.
I know.
Okay.
He fell out of his sleeve, maybe. But again,
yeah, Higgy didn't leave because AJ was sleeping.
Correct.
I can assure you you that.
Again, there may not have been mutual interest. You just never know.
And maybe they wanted to allocate the budget towards something else.
Correct.
We have no idea. But it wasn't because AJ was asleep at the wheel. Wait, what? Higgy, we
Higgy's
haven't even
gone?
called him yet. He's already
Yeah.
gone. He didn't even talk to us. No, that's not how it played out. He had a couple of other quotes, talked about wanting Jurickson Profar back. He was asked to compare Cardinals fans to Padres fans.
That was an interesting one.
A little spicy, but he said, Cardinals fans, very knowledgeable. Padres fans, most passionate in baseball. He was also asked about the Dragon up north and the Los Angeles Dodgers and, the moves that they have been making and looking to put together a super team.
Is it fair what the Dodgers are doing? We have this discussion probably every day now that Blake Snell, is it fair that a team continues to just purchase players and supposedly, quote unquote, build a super team that was a few runs away from getting eliminated in a 5-game series against the Padres?
Yeah, I mean, it's fair by the rules that we play within, right? I mean, they've got a lot of advantages over there, and they, understand and believe. I think we all would take advantage of those advantages, and they, it's a well-run organization, so can't fault them. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about them. I spend way more time figuring out how we're going to continue to take care of them and beat them. We had a good regular season against them and took into game 5, and it's my time and energy is to continue to figure out a way to move our mission forward to take care of business and win that West and ultimately get that big shiny prize at the end with the ring.
Yeah, Mike Schultz not one to complain about something being unfair.
No, not really.
He acknowledges the reality of the situation. Dodgers aren't going anywhere. They're going to continue to be good. They're going to continue to spend, and they're going to take, as he said, advantage of their advantages, as we all would if we were in that position.
100%. I mean, I saw Tony Gwynn Jr. Tweeting yesterday about it as well. They had this discussion on their show about, the fairness of it. And look, I mean, there are haves, there are have-nots. It's always been that way in professional sports. I can certainly see the logic behind a cap and a floor. I just don't think the players will ever sign off on it. But, they do have, right now, as it stands today, $1 billion in deferred money. And I will say this, whether it's fair or not, Rob Manfred is not going to rubber stamp that for every team. He's just not. He's not going to rubber stamp $1 billion in deferred for, us. He's not going to rubber stamp $1 billion deferred for the Pirates, the Rockies. I mean, it's not the case. The Dodgers can go into Major League Baseball and present the case of, this is our owner, this is our balance sheet, this is what it looks like. We're good with this. You need to be good with it as well because we can cover all of it.
It's an interesting dilemma. It certainly is, because you want teams to be playing from the same rule book, at the very least.
They are.
Which is what Mike Schultz says. But in some ways, as you're kind of pointing out, they aren't. The Dodgers don't get hammered with, hey, are you in compliance with debt service?
Right.
Because, their revenues are so high. They can afford to defer money, spend money the way they want, and they don't get that complaints from Major League Baseball that you're doing it the wrong way. Yes, technically that debt service is in the bylaws or whatever for Major League Baseball ownership, but you're inherently putting teams on a very different playing field.
Yes.
Which, from a sports fan's perspective, that doesn't seem fair. That one team is on a different playing field entirely than another team.
Sure.
And the way to solve that is a way, as you just said, the players' union probably will never accept, and that is through a system of salary caps and floors that make everybody
Couldn't they still
spend, but
just
not
defer
too much.
money with the salary cap?
Nope. No, because it would count against the salary. It still counts against the cap. So
yeah, I mean, and right now, I think I think if you're the Dodgers, that there's a potential work stoppage coming, right? We all know that. That it's in fact like
probable.
Get our ducks in a row here on Ben and Woods and be ready to go back to Corona Cave content when that happens. But they also know, hey, there's the potential of this coming down the road. These, I don't even want to call them loopholes, really. Our advantage, let's just take advantage of it. Because one thing you can say, look, there are teams out there in really good financial positions that would not spend like the Dodgers do. There just are. That would say, God, $350 coming in from our cable provider.
The Red Sox have been that team.
The Red Sox have been that team for a couple of years where it's like, bro, John Henry is banking banking. He's got the soccer team, and the guy's loaded. And he's like, I'm good. Just gonna skate by. Got a couple of stars that people want to go see. I'm not gonna.
Maybe they're spending this year, but it's after a few years of blowback from fans. Like, hey, are you ever gonna spend on this roster?
Yep.
So maybe they will now. But you're right.
The Yankees. I mean, come on. Like they haven't spent like they used to spend. Not even close. So I just, while that they have this advantage, they're going to exploit it. And I think that's smart business. And I guess kudos to them for not just sticking it right in their pocket, making themselves wealthy.
There's been, so much conversation like, oh, this is bad for baseball.
Sure.
This is bad for baseball. Wouldn't it be worse for baseball if they were making all of this money and not going out and buying players?
Yeah, because those are the teams that bug me the most. The teams that bug me the most.
Look, it sucks being in the same division with them.
Yeah,
but,
it's rough.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I can't really hate on it.
Yeah, you can't.
They're in position to do that. And I would hope that the Padres, if they did have a TV deal like that and the revenue coming in, that they would be spending damn near $1 billion.
Yeah, deferring $1 billion, right? And so, we had our moment in the sun of signing high-priced free agents and being in on everybody. And I hope those days are not gone, certainly. But, yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough to swallow. I get it. But, again, they're not breaking any rules to my knowledge yet. And so, yeah, somebody did say the most likely entity to stop the deferrals is the state of California. There are some major tax implications, but that's way above my pay grade.
JD's third in our YouTube chat says the Dodgers will surpass the Yankees as the most valuable sports franchise in a few years.
I can believe it.
Nothing but pennies and peanuts to them. They're making Ohtani's contract back in 3 years.
Yep.
I think that may be a true statement. The Yankees have always been, at least for Major League Baseball, the gold standard. There's Manchester United, the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Yankees, the true icons of global sport. But with Ohtani and basically an entire country that is baseball crazed in Japan, now pretty much in the Dodgers' pocket, I can certainly see the argument where globally the Dodgers will be a more profitable and powerful brand than the Yankees very soon, if they're not already.
But the crazy thing is, man, is you can get all the players you want. You're still going to lose 60 games. You know what I mean? Like, you're still more than likely going to lose 60 times. So we'll figure it out.
They might lose less if Rob Manfred's idea of the golden at-bat comes to fruition. Talk about that and more in the second half of Ben and Woods. Next on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we are halfway home on a Tuesday. Ben and Woods 97.3 The Fan. Thanks for being here with us. First 2 hours have flown by, which means the next 2 hours are going to drag. I don't think they will. We got Kyle Glaser coming on at 8:35. The newest member of the Baseball Writers of America. He gets a Hall of Fame vote, so he's got that burden he has to carry around with him now, and we'll ask him about that. It's so fascinating.
With great power comes great responsibility.
That's exactly right. It's exactly
remember
right.
that Tom Verducci video when he talked about walking everybody through his ballot, and there was like a slow piano playing.
That was amazing.
He's like, I can find it. I'm sure I can find it. He's like, I remember you did a parody.
I did a parody of it.
I gotta go find this.
Find it. It was so good. Now I don't think Kyle's going to do anything like that, but it was like, all right, Tom, relax, buddy. You didn't find the cure for cancer here, man. You're just voting for the Hall of Fame. Though it is a great responsibility, one that I would take seriously, but I would agonize over, to be sure. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor.
Had a little breaking news every hour on the program.
Yeah.
I will throw in the 8 a.m. breaking news from the world of baseball. Jeff Passan tweeting the Boston Red Sox are in agreement on a 1-year, $10.75 million contract with left-handed reliever Aroldis Chapman, pending a physical. Boston seeking help for its bullpen from the left side. The 36-year-old Chapman fits the bill.
Still the creepiest video I've ever seen in my whole life.
Aroldis and his mom?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's getting even creepier than that.
It was uncomfortable.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah.
I love my
Was his
mom, too. Yeah, it was his mom.
I thought it was like his aunt.
No,
or his
it was his
grandmother.
mother.
Yeah,
He was going to second base.
feeling her up.
Yeah, went to second base with his mom on the couch.
On camera.
On camera. And it was out there. I don't...
Different cultures, whatever, you know.
Okay,
It's fine.
it's fine. Whatever. It's still the most uncomfortable video I've ever seen.
Right. And not even nearly the most problematic thing about
That he's
Aroldis
done.
Chapman.
Correct.
That somehow he's
That's
stuck.
like fourth on the list, I think, of the things that he's done. It's like, oh my God.
But he's left-handed and throws the ball
Throws 100 miles
extremely
an hour.
hard, which means there is always a spot for him in Major League Baseball.
It's incredible. Incredible. Well, good pickup for the Red Sox. Again, they're showing that they're going to spend some money. And
Or are they showing that they know Juan Soto's not going to pick them, so they're going to start spending their monay elsewhere?
everyone is doing that.
I
Like
know.
if your team signs someone, like, oh, I guess we're out on Roki. I saw Dodger fans yesterday really upset that they were in on some pitcher. And like, well, that means we're not getting Roki now. I'm like, no, it doesn't mean that. You guys will be fine. If you just remember, if you have a glut of starting pitching, a glut, and the Dodgers do right now, and some of it's dicey, right? But if you have a glut of starting pitchers and you get Roki Sasaki, you know what you can do with that glut of pitchers? You can move them to other teams that are desperate for starting pitchers. You guys know how this works. You could literally sign 24 pitchers in the offseason. Sign them. And then figure out who your best 6 are, and then trade the rest. You can't have too many of these commodities. So I don't think it takes anybody out of any deal. I think the Red Sox have money earmarked for Juan Soto as well. I don't think the $10 million for Chapman's going to take them out of it.
Take him out of the other $630 million.
Well, you
or
guys
whatever
wanted
it is. Yeah.
Soto, but we gave you Chapman. You should be happy. All right? So it's great.
Apples?
Now, the
Oranges.
funny part about this, though, is that there are legions of Red Sox fans who have absolutely detested and loathed one Aroldis Chapman. And now, guess what? He's about to be their favorite player. I've always loved him.
We were talking last week about how many times the Yankees went and signed loathed Red Sox to their team.
Every year. Every single year. Oh, good. Jacoby Ellsbury is here. Oh, Johnny Damon's here with no beard. Kevin Youkilis looking good with no goatee. I mean, just a slew. All of them. The most hated guys. You're like, oh, great. Here we go again. I mean, it'd be like the Padres like, hey, we just acquired Max Muncy and Will Smith. And we're like, oh, my God, the worst day of our lives. I wouldn't go to spring training. I would sit it out. Like, once he's not coming, I'm not going.
Padres do need a catcher.
Like, I'm not going.
Dodgers have a pretty good catching prospect as well, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe they're looking to
move Will Smith. Oh, can you imagine?
Will Smith.
So, yeah. Aroldis Chapman is now
Dalton Rushing, the number 39 prospect in baseball.
He made it up a little
Dodgers
bit, too.
number 1 prospect, but blocked by Will Smith. Maybe the Padres can trade for Dalton Rushing.
I heard they're going to move him to the outfield.
That's what they're looking to do. They started playing him in the outfield a little bit last year.
Yeah, that's right.
But he might be more valuable as a trade guy.
Oh, yeah.
Because teams obviously need catching. I mean, we talked about that this morning, so they could be looking to move him as well.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, let's talk about the golden at-bat.
Okay.
So this came from a podcast. John Outland, I believe, who is Sports Business Journal and has covered, the business of sports for many years, had Rob Manfred on his podcast. I forget what the podcast name is, but Paulie had a clip.
In between the lines.
I'm just making that up.
He works for Puck.
Now he works for Puck. Yeah, he used to be Sports Business Journal. Now it's Puck.
The Varsity is the podcast.
The Varsity is the podcast. So, they're talking about the success of recent rule changes in Major League Baseball, like the pitch clock and the no shift and the bigger bases, and talked about what other potential rule changes could be at least discussed. And Rob Manfred brought up the golden at-bat.
Are there other changes that are brewing that are flying a little bit under the radar in the minors?
Planted question.
One of the best things about the success we had last year, both artistically in terms of the fan reaction, but maybe equally important, the success we had in predicting for the owners what the outcome was going to be, is that it makes people in the game more comfortable talking about change. They have some confidence that you can manage the change process in a way that produces a good outcome. So I mean, there are a variety of things that are being talked about out there. One of them, there was a little buzz around at an owners meeting, was the idea of a golden at bat. That is, putting your best player out there out of order at a particular point in the game. That rule and things like that are in the conversation only stage right now.
I don't even know what to say at this point.
You're troubled that they've even gotten to the conversation only stage.
I'm troubled
for the golden at bat.
I'm troubled that that's an actual thing that owners have decided. Hey, let's muddle this around. It feels to me like, because again, I know people were very reluctant to the big bases. The first time I saw the big bases, I mean, my chin hit my chest. I walked out to spring training field and I looked at it and I went, oh my God. I knew they were going to be big. I didn't know they were going to look like pizza boxes. I was blown away. But you know what? Stolen bases are up. Safer, the whole thing. Then you start taking away the shift. You're like, you know what? This is actually pretty good. Then that pitch clock comes in. Now, again, we don't know the long-term ramifications on the pitch clock with pitchers, but I know guys were getting hurt. Guys were getting hurt before the pitch clock, too. I mean, Tommy Johns have been going up and up and up and up and up for years.
Aesthetically, it's the best thing that's happened to baseball in a long time.
Unquestionably the best moves that baseball could make. All of the old school people that were so against it now have even come to realize, oh, wow, this actually is like the baseball I grew up watching. There is more action. It's less, 3 true outcomes. Ball's in play more, and the games are quicker. And so I think this is what happens, though. You hit on a couple of really good ideas, and you're like, what else can we do? What else? Like, how else can we change the game? And
you get that little high.
You get that rush.
Of having a successful idea going, now I need to find another one.
It's like you win $1,000 playing craps on Wednesday night. You're back down there Thursday. Like, if I double my bets, I can make even more money. Never really works out that way. This is a dumb idea.
Runs. What if we all use aluminum bats and just hit 600-foot home runs, potentially kill people?
Yeah. It is. It doesn't make sense to me. And one of the best parts of sports, I saw this summed up pretty well, is, hey, man, sometimes it comes down to the fact that the bases are loaded in the 9th inning and you have your worst hitter up, right? It would really remove moments for guys that have had massive moments, right? I mean, so
are they trying to lean into like how other sports, like in basketball, you can get the ball in the hands of your best player when the game's on the line.
Yes.
In football, you can throw to your best receiver when the game's on the line.
Well, you can if you have the ball.
The Chicago Bulls down 1, 10 seconds left, and it's Horace Grant's turn to have the ball. At the end of the
Bill
game.
Cartwright with the final shot today. But the funny thing is like, even in, okay, if you want to talk about basketball, think about Steve Kerr's big shots. Think about John Paxson's big shot. It happens, right? Those moments live forever. And so it's not always Jordan making the final bucket. It's not. And so the fact that you're going to be like, all right, Shohei, you're up again. Like, it's just embarrassing for the sport. I hope it doesn't come to that. Look, will I adjust? Yes, I always do. I just don't think that's not in the spirit of. That's not in the
tiny part of me that's going, you know what? F it. Let's get weird.
Someone in the chat called it moment chasing.
Yeah.
And it is a good thing when a giant star comes up in a huge situation,
but you can't
they're facing a
manufacture
great
that.
reliever. Well, they're saying
That's it.
Maybe you can.
That's it.
Manufacture it a little bit more.
Soto
I think I read
Judge.
somewhere the most watched baseball moment, like in YouTube history, was Shohei Ohtani versus Mike Trout at the end of the World Baseball Classic. It happened organically. You didn't force it to happen, but it was a undoubtedly huge moment. And you can picture, the strategy that would be involved, because they haven't gotten to the point of when could you use it. Would it be any time during the game? Would it be late in the game? But even if it was an option to managers, knowing, hey, it's the bases loaded. It's the second inning. We can break this game open. Do we do it now? Or do we hold it until the bottom of the ninth in case we're down? The strategic implications would be insane. I wouldn't want to be a manager and have to decide on the golden at bat.
I spent like an hour trying to process how this could even work yesterday when I started reading about this. And I'm like, okay, let's say you haven't used it yet. You got 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, and you're at the bottom of your lineup. Tatis is your leadoff hitter, but he's on deck. You want to get him up. So you use your golden AB. He goes on, hits a double. It doesn't hit the game-winning home run. Then he's up to bat.
Then he's up to bat again? You ghost
have
run a guy?
I think you'd have a golden at-bat pinch runner who just goes in for the...
Just back-to-back ABs?
You just think about talking about the Dodgers. And, it's bases loaded. It's a one-run game, bottom of the ninth, 1 out, and Shohei comes up, and you strike him out. Guess who's coming up next? Shohei. Again. Try it a second time with the golden at-bat. It could create some weird situations.
Dumb.
If you sent someone up as the golden at-bat and he hits a walk-off home run and, they celebrate and they pour the yellow Gatorade over him, that would be called a golden celebration.
Golden shower. For the golden moment. I just, again, like somebody said in the chat, this isn't going to get new baseball fans. If you're not a fan of baseball, this isn't going to go, oh, that's going to make me a fan of baseball. I don't think.
Maybe. It's radical
One
enough.
time a game? Once? You're going to watch 9 innings for one time?
You'd have to have a couple of those huge moments happen, and then maybe...
it would also mess up the numbers. Shohei would likely get an extra 162 at-bats a year.
Yeah, Judge would too.
Instead of 600, he gets about 780 at-bats in the year. Yeah. So instead of 50 home runs, he hits 72 home runs.
Who's your golden shower hitter? Golden
for the Padres?
Golden
at-bat hitter. Well, it's probably pitcher dependent. If you still have the 3-batter minimum rule, and they've got a righty in there, then you're probably putting on a lefty or something like that.
Tatis. Come on.
That would be the Padres'
and then
logical choice.
Somebody sulks because they didn't get selected as the golden hitter. It's so dumb, dude.
If it could be situational, like Luis Arraez. If you just need a ball in play,
you need to get a hit.
He might be the best golden at-bat choice, depending on the situation that you're looking for in that spot.
It does feel like it's crafted specifically for
the Dodgers and the Yankees
and Soto. You know what I mean? Because Soto's getting on base.
The funniest thing,
Walker hits the home run.
Somebody said, "You want to make baseball? You want to make baseball interesting? Have the ceremonial first pitch person." Come in to close the ninth. Now Danny DeVito is now in for the ninth inning to close out the game because he threw the ceremonial first pitch. Danny DeVito comes out for the ninth. Now that would make baseball interesting.
I think Paulie nailed it though when earlier he said, "How is this different than just saying, well, let's use aluminum bats?"
Right.
If you want to jack up offense and create, more huge moments. What would be more exciting than a 680-foot home run with an
rubber
aluminum
balls?
at bat? I mean,
how about lacrosse balls?
Every
Golf
infielder
balls.
is just like, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore.
It's just the dumbest. It's just so dumb.
I guess since we're talking about it, Jason Stark wrote about it in The Athletic, and he gave a couple of scenarios of what this could look like. He said each team gets to pick one at-bat at any point in the game, but only once to play its Golden AB card. Would you save it for the Juan Soto moment? The strategy. When do you use it? Then he said there's this option. Each team gets one Golden AB per game, except only in the 7th inning or later.
Okay.
The other variation, this is the one that he would vote for. Only a team that is trailing or tied in the 9th or later gets to use their Golden AB.
They're really making it complicated now.
And then he talks about, how about this? Say the Royals use their Golden AB to let Bobby Witt Jr. lead off the 9th. He makes an out. Guess who's batting second? It's Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
It would be so weird.
I'm going to pass.
I'll pass.
I'm going to pass on the Golden at-bats.
Just end blackouts.
And
Start
maybe,
there.
And maybe that was Rob Manfred's whole thing. Let's see what the reaction is. And it's been almost universally negative.
Yeah, somebody says now you're punishing a team for winning a game late. I know.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense.
I don't like that
if
either.
it happens to come up where your stars come up in the 9th, you have to strategize for that.
I think you nailed it earlier. It's wild that this even, got out. That this became
Why
an
would he
idea.
throw that out there?
And he threw this out there 2 months ago, by the way. That podcast, that clip, was in October.
That's right.
And it just started getting written about yesterday. And everyone's like, wait, where did this come from? Very weird.
What are we doing?
We got Kyle Glaser coming up at 8:35. Oh, you mean in a more general sense?
In a more general
what are we
sense.
doing?
What is happening to the game we all love? Leave it as it is. It's really good. You had record numbers last year. Record numbers. Record attendance, record everything.
But they thought leave it as it is for 100 years.
They did.
It started getting a little stale.
Well, they changed it.
Yeah.
The shifts
and that was smart.
and things like that, and they changed it
that
back.
was smart.
It was great. Man. Yeah, somebody said he's been watching John Boy Media's Warehouse Baseball too much and wants a game that looks more like that. Man, it's tough. That's a hard pass for me.
All right, we got Kyle Glaser coming up. He's got a Hall of Fame vote, which is a responsibility and an honor. Talk to him about that at the bottom of the hour here after traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, here we go.
Black 17 on.
That is my number.
All right, hit me.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
All right, here we go.
Black 17 on.
That is my number.
All right, hit me.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Damn it, the Araldis Chapman picture was just tweeted into my feed. Now I've had to see it again.
You brought it up.
It's so disturbing. Like, I do that to my wife, but that's my wife. I would never do it to my mom.
Gross.
It's so gross.
She didn't seem to mind, though.
Which makes it even worse. That makes it even worse.
I think you're being judgmental.
Maybe. I don't want to live in a world where that's socially acceptable. Fondling your mother. I don't. Call me crazy. Well, Woods on the soapbox again. All right, fine. I'll get on my soapbox. Woods is just judgmental. All right, fine. Call me whatever you want. I don't want to see a guy.
To each his own is what
no,
I'm saying.
Absolutely not, bro. Adams has different cultures. Fine.
There's two different pictures. 2 pictures of him doing that. The one on the couch is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
It's just insane. Everyone's tweeting it now, tagging me in it, so that's great.
Just talking about potential rule changes in Rob Manfred's golden at bat. Now, I have not heard that he has actually considered this one, but maybe he should. I saw this from our friend Bradford Doolittle from ESPN, who advocated to better give the division winners an advantage in the postseason. That instead of a ghost runner, that you give the team that is the 3rd seed, the one that doesn't get the bye in the first round of the playoffs, the 3rd division winner who has to play in the wild card series against the 6th seed, a ghost win to start their playoff series. So they're up 1-0 when the series starts.
So they won their division.
They won their division.
But they don't have the...
But they don't get the bye because they're not one of the top 2 division winners. So in order to even that out and at least give them something for winning their division, other than just home field advantage in the wild card route, because you don't even have to win your division to get home field advantage in the wild card route.
So who
Padres had it against the Braves this year without winning their division.
Yeah. Who would it have
like
been?
Milwaukee.
The Brewers.
Who ended up losing that series 2-1. But because if they had had the ghost win, they would have gone forward because they only need to win 1 set of 2 games to advance. Force that last team to sneak into the playoffs have to win both games.
But what it does,
if they're going to advance.
Trying to think this out logically. I mean, giving somebody a win is weird to me. That's weird. You should have a benefit.
You can call it whatever you want.
That may be more egregious than the golden.
It might
bat,
be.
honestly.
If I Ben likes this one. I want to.
I do kind of like this one.
I want to work this one through.
You can call it a ghost win or not, or you can just say, hey, one team needs to get to 1 win at the end of the series. The other would need to get to 2 to win the series.
So Ray says the Central divisions suck, though. Yeah, okay, so then shouldn't they have a better record?
And get a bye.
That would behoove... I mean, obviously, you're trying to win as many games as you can. Everybody knows that. You want to get one of the top 2 so that you get a first-round bye. Now, if your team gets knocked out in the first round, which we have seen before, even if you had a bye, we did see the PP pants about that for certain teams. I won't name any names. I don't want to start a war with our friends up north. When it happened to them a couple times, we have to change the rules. We have to change the rules. This isn't fair. We won 111 games. We got beat by a wild card team. I kind of like play settled on the field. I really do. If you're going to be dishing out wins and losses, I kind of like that. I like having to settle it.
I think ultimately,
you could go straight seeding, which is interesting.
You could do that. It's basketball does it more that way.
Yeah,
winning
I
a division
like that.
doesn't really give you anything. It ends up just being straight seeding 1 through 10.
Well, it does
for the
give
playoffs.
you, but it does give you. It gives you a bye. You still would get a bye
in baseball,
right?
Well, if you were in the 1st or 2nd seed,
right?
Yeah,
which is what you have now. So.
I think ultimately,
But the reseed is a good idea.
If they head toward expansion and get to 32 teams and they're going to realign and have 4-team divisions. Now, that's another big change that would be coming. Is there going to be an American and a National League anymore in a few years?
Yeah, no kidding.
Or will there simply be a Western Conference and an Eastern Conference like in basketball where, you group teams more geographically as opposed to on traditional American and National League lines?
And see, realignment is chaos that I'm massively in favor of. That's chaos that doesn't affect, you're going to lose maybe some rivalries or whatever, but I think you can get new rivalries spark all the time. So it doesn't really bother me. That kind of tradition, that's the chaos that I love. Don't mess with the product on the field by adding, ghost runners and golden ABs and things like that. Mix it up. Mix it up a little bit, move it around a little bit, go a little bit more regional or whatever. I think that is fascinating stuff. And that like when they started interleague play, I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. This is unbelievable. Now it's just old hat. So make some changes, move teams around, and that's the chaos I'm here for. I love that stuff.
Anyway, we've got a baseball expert joining us next.
Yeah, we do.
Kyle Glaser from Baseball America is going to be with us. He's got a Hall of Fame vote. We can talk about the Golden At-Bat with him as well when we come back with more Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I don't think I'd want a Hall of Fame vote, actually.
I'm kind of with you, man. I'm kind of with you.
Not to
Big responsibility.
I'm not.
We're not here to rain on Kyle's parade.
Exactly. I feel bad about our next guest. Just got his first ever Hall of Fame vote, but kind of think that that's a responsibility I'm not ready for.
Same.
Maybe he is ready for it, though.
It sounds like
we'll
he's
talk
very ready.
with Kyle Glaser from Baseball America right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Still a few trouble spots here, guys. Northbound side of the 805 just cleared a crash past Telegraph Canyon Road. Everything's over the right shoulder. Up ahead, an accident has been cleared into HOV lane near Imperial. And we still have this crash north 805 just past Murray Ridge. That's over the right shoulder. Now it looks like it's northbound 5's turn. Get this crash on or near the 8th Street on-ramp to northbound 5. Also, Cordell traffic cam shows a collision westbound King Freeway before Kenwood. Got a couple cars involved. They're over to the right shoulder. Accident on the Grossmont Center off-ramp of westbound 8. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And joining us right now is our friend Kyle Glaser from Baseball America. Saw it on social media yesterday. Got his first ever Hall of Fame ballots in the mail from the this is a big responsibility, Kyle. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely one of those career goals I had for myself. I jumped on the Padres beat in 2015, and that was when I got my first BBWA card. And, 10-year member, you get a Hall of Fame vote, and 2025 is year 10.
You also get a discount like at Quiznos or
Yeah,
anything?
what's the discount with that card?
Well, the discount with the BBWA card is I can walk into any Major League Baseball game, no questions asked. So if you think about it like free tickets, it's probably been worth hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of my career. I just can't pay my mortgage with that, sadly.
Yeah, unfortunately. And they're not willing to barter with you.
They frown on you selling it to other people. So,
you'd have to worry about Ben being like, I'll let you use my card, but I want that card. Well, I hope to see from you a very emotional video like we did from Tom Verducci. Do you remember this one, Kyle?
Yeah,
Play
you
it
got to
for
remember, he walks into the there's an empty chair.
Yes,
and you hear,
empty chair.
Sits down.
Yeah.
The weight of history in your hands is heavy. Even when it is but one sheet of paper.
I need this from you. I can't tell you how much I need it.
The Baseball Hall of Fame ballot is a triumph of minimalism. One page, no logos, no pictures. Received and returned
Kyle,
by mail.
I need it from you before your first one goes out. All right?
Tom has a flair for the dramatic that I do not have. I tend to be a little more understated. He's in suits and ties at games. I'm in button down and jeans. So I think I'll keep it a little more low key.
Well, so you get your ballot in the mail, and we've had you on many times, talked to you many times over the years. It's one thing to, like I've said on the radio before. Ben's asked, so are you putting Woodsy? Are you putting A-Rod in the Hall of Fame? Are you putting Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame? Are you putting Roger Clemens in the Hall of Fame? My answer on the air for the last 7 years has always been unequivocally yes. I wonder how I would feel if I had that ballot sitting in front of me, if I could actually chalk those names in.
Yeah, so the way I think about it, and it's important to me to be very diligent about it and thoughtful about it, is if there is documented evidence of performance-enhancing drug usage, not rumors, not whispers, but hard evidence, whether it's the Balco documents, the biogenesis documents, the Mitchell report, a positive test, my inclination is not to vote for that player just because, look, as much as there was rampant steroid use, there was also many, many, many other players who were not using. Yeah. And I think it was blatantly unfair to them and cheating, and I just don't believe in rewarding that.
Do you think that will change as time goes on? I mean, you're a new voter, and obviously, those guys won't get your vote. I think for a guy like Fernando Tatis Jr., if he goes on and has a Hall of Fame career for the next 10 to 15 years, but will always have the suspension on his record. Does that ever change for a guy in the future, in your opinion?
I can't speak for the entire voting electorate and the ones to come. I just know that for me, it comes down to bigger questions and issues of fairness and and ethics, and ultimately, it's doing a disservice to the players who did things quote unquote the right way and played clean. to reward those guys. But that's just my opinion. I can't speak for the entire voting body, present or future.
I can respect that, Woods. It's his vote, and it should be, his values and what he believes in. But because the threshold is so high to get in, 75%, as long as 1 out of every 4 voters thinks that way in the future, then none of those guys like A-Rod could ever get in, at least via the baseball writers' ballot. Because, Kyle, it is really a very high threshold. I mean, you think how hard it is to get 3 out of 4 people to agree on anything in this world is very difficult to do, and it makes getting into the Baseball Hall of Fame really, really difficult.
No question. And look, there are other mechanisms. We have the Veterans Committee. So even players who don't get in, their first 10 years through the Baseball Writers Association of America, they do have opportunities for with the committees to come after. So we'll see. Again, opinions, tend to change over time. Views on issues tend to change over time. That's true both in baseball and society as a whole. So we'll see. But that's just kind of where I stand, today.
I love it. Talking to our pal Kyle Glaser from Baseball America. So switching gears, again, congratulations on the Hall of Fame vote. That's awesome. But let's talk a little bit of off-season. What are you hearing, if anything, about our beloved San Diego Padres? Higgy off to Texas now, and I, we've been debating it on and off air. I don't know that it's a money move. It could be we just didn't want to give an older catcher, a couple of years, but seemed like a need was there. What are you hearing about what AJ Preller and company are up to this offseason?
Yeah, priority number 1 is Roki Sasaki. When you look at the Padres' needs in the starting rotation, when you look at their budget situation, when you look at just, the whole landscape of free agency, Roki Sasaki fits everything they need in every way, including monetarily, because he's going to be subject to the international bonus pool limits. Obviously, there's a desire to bring back Jurickson Profar, shoring up some middle infield help, potentially defensively with Hassan Kim leaving potentially in free agency. Those are the smaller things, but Sasaki is, he's got the big target on him for the Padres, as well as most other teams in Major League Baseball. He's the guy.
Kyle, we talked earlier about, Kyle Higashioka leaving. When you look at the Padres minor league system, obviously everyone talks about Ethan Salas, but he's only, 18, going to be 19 years old, and it's hard to envision the Padres turning over the catching position to him in 2025. What about some of the other guys in the system? I mean, how likely is it that the Padres can find an internal solution, or are they going to have to go out and find another catcher?
They're going to have to go out and find another catcher. And just to be kind of transparent about it, the Padres farm system, in terms of guys who could help the team next year, there are some good arms in the system. Some guys you could see coming up, eating some innings in a spot start, playing a nice role in the bullpen, maybe even giving them some meaningful innings as a number 5 starter if some injuries hit. Position player-wise, there's just no one really ready in the minor leagues who you can see making a big impact in the majors. With that, you think back to last year, Kyle Higashioka was a throw-in, essentially, in the Juan Soto trade. And prior to last year, had never really hit much, was just, a solid defender backup type. But the Padres did a good job, scouting as well as, getting him in their system and working with him, the hitting coaches, and unlock something bigger. So it's going to be something like that, where they maybe go out, bring in a guy who's not a huge name or, maybe known for defense, but maybe a lighter bat, and then help him get better, as we saw they did with Higashioka last year. I would expect it to be something more like that.
When you say, there's no immediate position player help, is that an indictment on Eggy Rosario, your opinion there, or Tirso Ornelas, who are two of the more, close to major league, I would think, available position players?
It's more Rosario projects to be a up-down utility man type. That's just kind of what he's always projected to be. And, Tirso Ornelas, give him credit, has overcome some things in terms of his, he had some issues with just, general lack of bat speed and defense. He's done some work on his swing. He's done some work to just improve his all-around game and put himself in a position to reach the major leagues. Now, is he going to come up and be an impact player? Probably not. Again, he's really seen as someone who's more of a, up, down, help you when you need type of guy, but not someone you expect to see in the starting lineup every day.
And one of the things, Kyle, that always impresses me about AJ Preller is that he always finds takers. He finds takers, and he'll give probably one extra prospect that he needs to get the guy that he needs, but he always finds takers. So I guess it makes me a little nervous. In your opinion, you don't have to name names, but how many chips are down in the minors right now that you could see Preller flipping this offseason to get some major league ready talent? Other than, Salas and DeVries, obviously, you'd have a lot of takers there.
Yeah, look, again, there's some interesting young arms. Henry Baez is a guy who did some good things last year. You have, obviously, Ryan Bergert, who started to put on the 40-man roster. Those are some upper-level guys. And there's always, guys in the lower level of the system who were, international signees that are young and have some tools, and you can get something for them. Now, it might not be the biggest, sexiest piece, but you think about, trading Victor Acosta for Brandon Drury a few years ago, or, Jason Rosario for Mitch Moreland, like stuff like that. So, you have guys that can get you maybe some complementary pieces, but to get a big, big fish, outside of DeVries and Salas, it would take a very, very skilled negotiation to get an impact player without giving up one of those guys, just looking at what other chips they have.
I just remembered Mitch Moreland was a San Diego Padre. Just now, when he said it just popped into my head. Those were some lean days.
They were.
They were lean.
Talking to Kyle Glaser, formerly of Baseball America, now with MLB.com, but much too polite to correct me on the air. Thank you very much for that, Kyle. Your thoughts on our topic of the day, the golden at-bat, and the, Rob Manfred's offhand comments about thinking about new rule changes, including letting a guy bat out of turn once per game.
Come on.
It's utterly silly. It's never going to come to pass. So, look, the thing that Major League Baseball has done the last few years in regards to rules changes is they float an idea to see what the reaction is, or they'll test it. Typically, they would start in the Atlantic League, the independent league, where, most people don't care what happens, so they're willing to do some crazy things. And then if it's successful there, maybe they'll try it in the affiliated minors. And only if it's successful there do they ever bring it to the majors. And obviously, we've seen the pitch clock come up. We've seen, just some of the rule changes in terms of stolen bases come up for the minors. But there's been a ton of stuff that hasn't made the cut. They moved the mound back in the Atlantic League. That got canned. We've seen the ABS, the automated ball strike system, has not been good. It's probably going to end up being a challenge system if it comes to MLB. So this is something that, if it ever happens, it would probably be in the Atlantic League, and I think it would die in about 2 seconds.
They should start rule changes in the NL Central, where no one really cares that much. And if
Right.
it works there, you can bring it to the NL West and the NL East, where, all the real teams that people care about are right now. Kyle, really appreciate it. Good luck with all the pondering. When's your vote due?
December 31st needs to be postmarked.
By the end of the year.
All right, question. How long, I'm looking at the ballot right now, how long do you think it's going to take you, realistically, to sit down and actually do it? Are you just going to go gut reaction on these guys? Or I know you're going to think a lot about it, but you already know a lot about some of these guys right now.
Yeah, look, there are certain guys who, to me, are automatic yeses. You don't have to think too hard about it. And there's other guys, I really want to kind of dive into. And I have my initial assumptions and thoughts, but just the way I'm wired, I always like to be diligent in my research and really think through problems and not just go off gut reactions. And there's also going to be some situations where I engage with former players to get their thoughts on some players on the ballot. And just, again, it's important to me to always be as thorough and well-researched as possible before doing something publicly.
Is it weird that I would get it? And I love it too, and I would it's important to me as well. But I would do it in 5 minutes. I would do it in 5.
You just wouldn't want it hanging over your head.
A, I don't want it hanging over my head. B, I would go, I'm going to trust my gut here. I'm a big gut guy, literally and figuratively.
We did rapid fire when the finalists were
yes,
all
we did the
announced.
rapid fire.
I agree with Kyle. You need to be, need to be thorough and put it. But at the same time, your gut is important. And
Your gut is important.
You don't want to sit too much, Kyle, and override your gut because.
Will this keep you up at night?
Yeah, probably.
Will it keep you up at night?
No, again, yes, there's no question. You can fall into paralysis by analysis.
Yes.
But in general, I definitely have my thoughts and opinions on certain guys. Let me put it this way. There's guys who absolutely, you see their names and yes, no questions asked. There's other guys you look at and say, no, I know I don't need to spend a lot of time on that. And then there's some guys who are kind of on the cusp. And I think those are the guys where I would feel like I'm doing it a disservice and not taking the process seriously enough if I'm not really giving those guys a hard look and putting in the work before making a decision.
Great call.
Well, if you come up with 9 and you got one leftover vote, our friend Adam Jones.
Oh, we
could
love
use a
Adam
vote or two,
Jones. We love AJ.
Just so he doesn't feel bad in the
Yeah.
end.
He needs to get one. Exactly. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, guys.
Kyle Glaser. The whole postmarked thing. It's kind of amazing that still exists here in the year 2024.
What do you mean?
He has to have it postmarked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
By December 31st.
Should be just on email.
You should just have an app.
An app.
Here's your Hall of Fame voting.
Yeah, here's your
app.
login.
A survey.
Yeah,
Like they
survey.
do it all the time.
I just did our Odyssey
So did I.
company survey yesterday.
Oh, I haven't done that yet. What did they ask?
The normal stuff. I was actually very kind.
You satisfied with
Yeah,
your...
satisfied. What describes your culture or whatever. So I just did it. You haven't done it yet.
I have not done it yet.
It's bad culture.
Do you believe
It's
them when
not
they say it's
due yet.
anonymous?
I don't believe them when
I
they
don't
say
believe
it's
them either.
anonymous. They do say, "Oh, there's no way to track it."
BS.
Isn't there?
is.
Well, yes, it
BS.
comes to your email. You know
Sure,
exactly.
if the FBI wanted to know, they could figure it out.
Come on. I know they say it's anonymous. Let's be honest with each other. Do me the favor of not insulting my intelligence and telling me you're not tracking what I respond. Right? I know it. You know it. If you really wanted it anonymous, you just put a stack of them in the break room, you fill it out, and put it in a box. But it comes through your email. They know exactly what you said and what you voted on. Right?
There has to be a way that if they wanted to look.
Get yours done. I don't want to be the only show with this incomplete.
It's not due yet.
I did mine yesterday.
I did mine yesterday.
You guys, you haven't put enough thought into
No,
it. You
I
need
put
to
plenty
take
of
your
thought in it.
time on these surveys.
You're going to forget. It's important.
Paulie's got some basketball news and more in our Reindl Report coming up next. With a mystery by our colleague John.
Mystery.
Take on John fame when Woods is out. He was in Chicago recently, went to the Vikings-Bears game, and had some Lou Malnati's deep dish pizza.
We just offended him, I think, like the deepest way.
None of us are
could.
huge deep dish pizza fans. I'll eat it, but it's not something I go search out.
Well, we did search it out at spring training, and it was horrible. I still smell it.
I
didn't like it when I lived there.
It's one of the most overrated foods
I'll
out
give
there.
you that. I will. I'll give you that as well.
And he asked, do you guys know why the cheese is on the bottom of a deep dish pizza? And then they put the sauce and the toppings all...
A big disc of sausage
atop.
on there. I don't know why.
I don't know exactly why they can't put it at the top. But I can Google and get an AI answer. Cheese in the bottom. Sauce can create a distinct layering effect. Yeah, obviously.
Right. It's a lasagna in a pizza crust.
Layering helps to prevent the crust from becoming soggy.
That's what I said. He said no.
He said no. I don't know. That makes sense. You said greasy, but that's the same thing.
Soggy. Yeah, soggy with grease.
I don't know why this is why we really care.
I mean, look, if I'm eating pizza, the thinner the better.
I want to be able to eat like 3 slices of pizza, and you can't do that with deep dish.
It was hyped up for a long time. Finally went to Secret Pizza at the Cosmo. It's a hidden little gem.
Yeah.
We went like 3 times in those 4 days.
So good, right?
It was freaking
It's really good.
phenomenal.
Thin crust, yeah?
Thin crust.
Oh, yeah.
Affordable.
New York style.
It was like $6 a slice or something.
There's just a little triangle, like a piece of pizza, neon, and kind of have to find it yourself.
Yeah, you go down this long hallway full of vinyl records on the wall, and there's a little pizza parlor.
Pizza speakeasy.
Yeah, kind of.
Sounds good.
Did my Odyssey Company survey during
You
the
did?
break.
Oh, it's already done. Thank you. Thank you.
I didn't spend a Kyle Glaser amount of time thinking about it. I do tend to spin myself out the difference between agree and strongly agree.
Yeah, me too.
On something like what really is, how fine of a line are we talking about? You know, agree, neutral, strongly agree. I don't know.
Did you leave a comment?
No.
I didn't either.
NA.
I didn't even write anything. I just hit submit.
Comment. That's work.
Because then they'll
Comments
know who it
are
is. Then they'll know who it is if I comment.
Yeah, because of your distinct writing style.
Oh, I thought you were going to say my disdain. I don't have any disdain. I'm very happy.
All the strongly disagrees didn't already tell everybody who it was?
I don't know that I disagreed with anything. I was very complimentary, very happy.
I realized I'm a fairly happy employee
Me
of
too.
Odyssey.
I'm very happy.
Based on my survey.
Yeah, great platform, great listeners. You know.
I feel like I have the tools I need to succeed at my job, which is mostly a microphone and Paul, and it's pretty much the tools that I need to succeed at my job.
Got insurance. I'm good. Like I'm very happy.
So
no complaints.
There you go.
Great
There's your results of your company corporate survey right there.
So if you hear anybody bitching, Michael, it wasn't us.
Probably
So you know.
John down the hall.
Probably John. Yeah, 100%. Some people take the survey very seriously. I remember some of the answers last year I saw was like, oh, wow, somebody actually wrote that in their comments. Remember that? It was pretty gnarly. I was like, good Lord.
It was like personal.
It was personal. And I went, man, I'm sitting this one out.
It was like
it was gnarly.
It was like, who's the dumbass that brought
did this?
the ping pong table in?
I swear it was not me. It was not
Every
me.
eyeball in the room turned to Woods.
They all did. They did. Everyone looked at me. I was like, and I was like, I did not write that. I swear to God. Like I did a bit on the air about it, but I was like, I'm not that offended to like freak out and go personal.
Nobody believed you either.
They didn't. It was not me.
We're like, we have documented evidence
Of
of
you
you on the
complaining.
radio complaining about it.
Trying to get work
Maybe
done
someone
here.
was trying to set you up by making them think.
Yeah.
They'll think this is
It's
Woods' ballot,
God,
his
dude.
survey,
It
if I
was.
win something about the ping pong
It
table.
was literally like, who's the absolute moron that brought in a ping pong
It wasn't
table?
like, hey guys, maybe perhaps can we reconsider the ping? It was like, who's the
moron
moron
that did this?
Who's the effing
And
idiot?
Literally everyone goes, just looked right over at me. I swear it was not me. It was not me. I'm all for, the regular Google that we work at here. Whatever you guys want to do. I'm fine with it. Paulie, got a Reindl Report.
And get things
Take it
started
away.
here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to blast?
Good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
Alrighty.
All right.
We'll start off. I saw the story, baseball news, I guess, a couple of days ago, and then I saw some people in the chat mentioning it earlier. The Arizona Diamondbacks are introducing the ballpark pass.
Yes.
$299, and that is going to get you tickets to every single Diamondbacks home game, all 81 games. I saw this the other day, and I thought, Thanksgiving was a few days ago. I am giving thanks that the Padres are no longer in that tier of a franchise. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have to resort to that.
If they offered that right now,
what would they charge
at Petco Park? No, if
It's
they
called
offer
season
for $299
You
a season
really get
pass.
all 81? There can't be.
No.
You don't get your own seats like every game, but you get in for all games.
Includes access to all 81 regular season home games, plus 2 exhibition games, probably like right after spring training before the season.
It's like $4 a game.
It says opt-in texts will be sent before each series' first game with the option to claim tickets for that series. The opt-in window will reopen for each game of the series. The first opt-in date, blah, 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 blah. Claim tickets will be available 3 hours before game time in your ballpark app. You can sit with friends. They have this feature will allow you to link your D-backs ballpark pass with other ballpark pass holders. And you can
So we could
sit
all
together.
link ours together, and in case 3 come up, we could.
It's not a bad idea.
Good idea.
I'm just glad that we have elevated from that. Didn't we have something like that?
Something similar.
Maybe a month-long pass or something similar. Not that long ago.
It's great for the fans, right? Which is what you want. But it's also kind of means the support isn't there, and that's a team that
when
was.
you have a franchise that hasn't been in the World Series since
2023,
2 years ago.
Yeah.
You got to do some, extreme things to get people to the ballpark.
It's wild, dude. It's wild.
That's something I could see the Rays doing.
Yeah.
At least at the old stadium when they had like 7,000 people there, and it's a big ass stadium. It might optically look different now at Steinbrenner Field and St. Pete there, but yeah, I mean,
if the Padres put up a $299 season pass and said line up at the ballpark, there'd be riots down there to get their hands on those things.
Adam Paul says it's not extreme. I think that is extreme. Don't you? $299 for the 81 games for a team.
No,
that was...
it's like any business. They're counting on the fact that people are going to shell out the $300, get really enthused in April and May, and go to like 7-8 games, and then they're going to go, I'm kind of tired of this, and then they're not going to a bunch of games, not claiming their tickets, which
or
then
they have
they'll
a great
have
time and they buy jerseys,
and drinks.
Yeah, that's
and
true too.
beers.
One or the other, but they kind of win either way on it. Either people don't use it, so they end up profiting that way, or they do use it, and again, they concessions.
Oh,
and,
I'd be the guy that bought it. $299 and went to 4 games.
Exactly.
The whole season. I'd be like, I'm not going. I'm tired.
The problem is you're still at Chase Field.
Yeah.
You're in an airplane hangar.
Yeah.
In the desert.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they got good players.
They do.
They're good
They do.
players,
Yeah.
guys you want to go watch.
They do.
Interesting. All right. I guess what I'm extreme in the fact that I didn't think they were there yet. That's what is extreme. I did not think they were at that level yet. Happened fast. But, yeah. All right. Well, good deal for the fans.
All right, next up, I was gone all of last week, and I haven't heard any of it this week, so I wanted to give Ben just to throw a bone at him, little Lakers talk.
Oh, great.
Put yourself in
firmly
J.J. Redick's shoes. Yeah, right. If you put yourself in J.J. Redick's shoes, so you got LeBron James, one of the greatest of all time, the cornerstone of your franchise. He has a goal at, what, is he 40 yet? No, he's about to turn 40.
Christmas Eve, or no, New Year's Eve, right?
Yeah. Him and Tiger Woods have the same birthday. About to turn 40. He has a goal that he set out this year to play in all 82 games.
Yep.
And J.J. Redick, I don't know if he's feeling any pressure maybe from ownership or Rob Pelinka, but he's starting to wonder if maybe that is in the team's best interest. I don't envy the position of first-year head
Oh my
coach
God.
J.J. Redick
I mean,
having
either-
to tell one of the GOATs, hey, bud, actually, I don't know that this is a very good idea. I think it's probably, we can all agree, it's not a good idea. It's cool for LeBron, I guess, but
when you have
you need him ready.
Well, when you have those individual personal goals, right? Like in my opinion,
Well,
it's weird.
showing up to play every day is not a selfish goal.
No, but saying I have to play or start.
Was Juan Soto selfish when he did it 2 years ago with the Padres? Said I want to play all 162.
You know,
so
I
they
think
played them all 162.
I think people could say yes, it is. There's a way. There's a way you can look at it both ways.
Here's the context.
Juan Soto's not 40 years old either.
Right.
If Albert Pujols in his age 38 season was like, I'm playing first base or DHing every day, even though
I don't think LeBron is doing it because he feels like I don't want to miss out on a game or stats or something. I think he's doing it because he wants to set
An
a good
example?
example for the rest of the league of all the guys who take
Multiple
games
days
off, who do, load management, and he goes, "This is not good for our
It's
sport. I want to be
admirable
out
of
there."
LeBron.
Last night, LeBron should not have been out there. They were playing the second of back-to-back nights after playing in Utah on Sunday. They played in Minnesota yesterday. The Lakers looked like zombies on the court, including LeBron.
Here's the context. They lost by 29. Season low, 10 points for LeBron. 4 of 16 shooting. He went 0
No
for
legs.
4 on 3. And that he's 0 for 19 in his last 4 games from 3-point range. Like he needs a breather.
In hindsight, it would have been a great night for LeBron to take off. You're going to get bodied anyway.
But why didn't he take the night off? Because
he's trying to set a good example.
Because of whom?
Himself.
Correct. So he's thinking of whom? Who's he thinking of?
The league.
Because
If he takes games off, he will also be criticized for load management and
No, he won't.
Joel Embiid out there taking the games
a
off.
40-year-old will not be criticized for load
On
management.
any
They all
given
are.
night in the regular season, do the Lakers have a better chance of winning with LeBron playing or not?
When they make their one visit, I don't know if it's 1 or 2, to Minnesota every year,
Yeah,
and
people wanna
fans
see
want to
him.
see LeBron play, and he feels an obligation to NBA fans to be on the court for that one game that he's there, yes, he's going to get criticized if he doesn't play, even though it's probably the smart and right thing for him to do to sit out and spare his legs.
So you can't. This is not even a conversation you can have if you're JJ Redick, because that.
Well, he said after the game, I don't know if that's in the best interest of him and us if he does that, but if he's feeling well and feeling good, then he should play. But we obviously want to manage that as best we can.
I think the quote from JJ Redick is, "You think I make any of the decisions?"
I have no
around
say
here?"
in this. He decides if he's in the lineup or not, which is, it's not that uncommon in sports, I would imagine. I can go, I'm going. Manny does the same thing. I can play.
LeBron didn't want to talk about it right now. He said, that's a goal, but we'll see. It's something I ain't discussing right now.
Yeah, fair.
But
at least he left the window open or the door open to say, my ass may need to sit out a game or two.
I thought it was funny. I read a few paragraphs of the story, saw the headline, and I go, oh, that is a tough spot to be in.
Terrible.
If you're JJ Redick.
It's terrible.
All right, and then finally, we often talk about Florida man, but Florida woman says, hold my beer or hold my suitcase.
This
Story
is wild.
recently here. There was a 10-day trial that happened back in October. And this woman, Sarah Boone, she is a 47-year-old woman in Florida. She was convicted of second-degree murder in the killing of her boyfriend. She zipped him up in a suitcase and
when he was alive.
While he was alive, yes.
Not when he was. She didn't kill him and then put him in a
Try
suitcase.
to hide it. No. I don't know if they were playing a game, a challenge, or whatever.
They were drinking. I know that.
Yeah. Probably doing the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zipped him up in a suitcase and left him in there.
Yeah, went to bed.
And he died.
Obviously.
Are suitcases airtight?
They're tight enough to where you can't get out, I think.
Well, I know you can't get out, but what killed him?
Lack of oxygen?
Yeah, that's what
maybe?
I'm saying. Are they airtight?
There's probably not a lot of air coming in.
Panic?
Maybe.
You're
I don't
probably
know.
breathing in more air than is coming in.
I know in Ocean's 11 they put the yen in the suitcase.
Yes.
And they said he's got 30 minutes of air
Of air.
starting
Well,
now.
he also had an air canister.
Yeah, they have a canister.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe suitcases are airtight. They didn't seem like they're like vacuum
So
sealed. But
the incident happened several years ago, and courts and everything. It can take years. And so,
oh my God, he's folded in half. Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, it says they were joking, having a night drinking.
Hysterical.
She zipped him up in the suitcase, and then it says, after arguing, she went upstairs and went to sleep, believing that he could get himself out. She got up the next morning. He was still inside the suitcase.
Yeah, dead.
And
he died.
I mean, I understand there's no zippers on the inside of the suitcase, but you can't like wedge your finger in and get it to open up or anything.
I got an idea. I've got a couple of suitcases of various size. I'll bring them in tomorrow.
There's no chance you have a suitcase large enough for me.
I will zip you up.
There's no chance.
What about
I will
Adam?
Fit. Adam might fit in a suitcase.
We do that at the extravaganza.
Zip him up at
the
6 a.m. and then we'll check on him at 10.
And then we'll have the trial later in 2025.
Like, whose idea was this actually? I didn't actually do it. It's just my idea.
Well, it was the Reindl Report, so it was Paulie's responsibility.
Carlos,
we shouldn't laugh.
Another reason
man
to
is dead.
Carry a pocket knife with you. Yes.
Were you ever a guy who carried? You were a guy.
No,
who carried
I had a
Swiss Army knife.
I had a Swiss Army knife when I was a kid.
With you, I never
my
had.
Parents really wouldn't let me carry it, and then I got so paranoid that I was going to get in trouble for it, so I just started leaving it at home. But I always admired those that carried pocket knives.
The kid at school always brought a switchblade,
a butterfly knife, a stiletto, all of these things that they bought illegally. The Chinese throwing stars were a big player back in our day too. We used to go down.
Never had those.
You never had those?
No.
Oh
No.
man, terrifying.
Had
We
a
did a lot.
switchblade.
You had a switchblade?
Small one.
Yes!
Had a Swiss Army knife.
A switchblade Paul, dude.
No,
That's a dangerous cat over there, Ben.
Ooh, call me a cat.
You had a switchblade?
It was like, yeah, it was.
Ben had a switch comb.
It wasn't like the full. I had a buddy that had the full butterfly knife. I'm like, oh my God, get away from me.
The switch comb was pretty badass, actually. It was very thin.
Yeah.
Very, very thin.
You go full Fonz.
Yeah, I don't like the thought of being contained in anything. You
That's
know, and
terrifying.
it's just the worst thing, and that's such a crappy way to die. But I'm willing to do an experiment to see if you could. You really think you could get out of one somehow, like Harry Houdini?
No, I'm not very flexible. I thought maybe someone could get out of a suitcase.
Yeah, not you.
But there has to be.
I don't think any of us could fit in a
There's
suitcase.
no
But
suitcase
if
that's
there
gonna
was
hold
a
us.
suitcase
Big
big
box
enough,
storage.
I don't think
perhaps.
you're getting out.
We're gonna lock you in this big box storage, Ben. See if you can get out. No tools, no nothing. Adam, I have suitcases that would hold him with room to spare. By the way, like there's no question.
I've got a really big suitcase.
I do too. I could get him in our big.
Start charging
suitcase.
him rent to live in
Just
there.
Put him in there at the beginning of the thing and say, "Hey, keep working. You're almost there."
We just leave him
I like
in
that
front
Ben,
of the table.
I like that Ben thinks you're folded in half in a suitcase, yet you can still manage to use your finger to wedge the zipper open somehow. It's amazing. Thank you,
that
Paul.
Sucks.
That sucks so bad.
Terrible way to go out.
Terrible way.
And the story I was reading is like they were joking, drinking. They played a game of hide and seek. Says they
Great
were
place to
joking.
hide.
They were joking when she zipped it up, and then it says after arguing, she went upstairs and went to bed. Like what happened in between? Did she not hear him screaming? Like,
for
hey,
help? Please,
get back down here!
I don't want this. Oh my God. The thought of it makes me panic.
Terrifying.
Jay says, well, she won that game. All right. That's hardcore.
I think he won. He was the hider.
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
We'll come back. We'll find out tonight which team is likely set up to make the college football playoff pending the outcome of the conference championship games, right? Yes. I mean, tonight's rankings they shouldn't change for the teams that aren't going to play. So you're going to find out Alabama, Ole Miss, South Carolina. Who is it that has the inside track?
Big day, buddy.
Big day. Talk about that after traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
So who will everybody, well, not everybody, but certainly 4 or 5 different large fan bases in college football be cheering against this week? Do you know the answer to that question? Public enemy number 1? Clemson. Clemson is the team that could spoil the party for somebody by beating SMU. SMU is maybe not comfortably into the college football playoff, but in the ACC championship game, Clemson could steal a spot, possibly.
By beating SMU.
By beating SMU. SMU drops but stays in, and that knocks out the potential last at-large team, which could be Alabama, could be Ole Miss, could be South Carolina. There's a few options. Miami could be one of the last teams in. But we won't really know until later tonight when the second to last college football playoff rankings, the last one that is not the real one, is released by the committee this evening, and we'll find out who is ahead. Is it Alabama? Is it Ole Miss? Is it South Carolina? They all have their arguments, and we'll find out. We'll find out more tonight where everybody stands, and then you can watch the games this weekend, the conference championships, in particular that ACC. And try to speculate what will or won't happen once the real rankings are released next week.
Watch the thing tonight, and then when they go to the head of the selection committee, Try to really focus. I tried last week to watch it, and I might as well been watching a show in French. I mean, I just sat there, was staring at the screen, and I was like, bro, you lost me. You lost me 5 minutes ago. It is a bunch of circular talk. I understand that there's logic behind all of it, but, it's going to be this way for a while. I'm certainly not going to complain. So happy to have 12-team playoff. I think it's legit. I think it's such a blast to see some new faces, some new names in there. And again, I do mean this. I would say this, even if the Irish weren't in it, Ben. If they got left out, I would still be very fired up for a 12-team playoff because it gives teams a chance at the end of the day, and that's all you can ask for. And I think it's a remarkable accomplishment to make the tournament, much like I do when you make the NCAAs. I mean, we love that team that gets in and they're the bubble team and they're the 15 seed or whatever. You're like, this is badass for that university. And I think the same can be said for college football, especially in an NIL world where money. It's weird, right? Because we always talk about, well, those teams with the most money are the teams that have the most advantage or the ultimate advantage. And that may bear out, that may play out on the field. But you feel like you have a shot.
It's funny because it's worked both ways. It feels like college football has gotten more the rich get richer in this era of NIL. But you look at the playoff teams. I mean, Arizona State was picked to finish last in the first year of the Big 12 this year. And they've got a chance to win and be in. And not only that, if Arizona State beats Iowa State in the Big 12 championship game and Boise State loses to UNLV, Arizona State probably gets a bye.
Yes.
They probably get the fourth
insane.
seed and a bye in the first round of the college football playoff. Arizona State.
It's incredible.
Out of nowhere. I mean, Arizona State was not even thought of at the start of this season.
How cool is that?
They're probably as highly thought of as San Diego State at the start of this season. And here they are with a chance not only to make the college football playoff, but get a bye in the first round.
And in the old system, you'd have your major outliers. I mean, you can call the Irish an outlier a couple years. And Boise State, the 1 year that they...
Statue of Liberty
Statue of Liberty, those are the outliers, though. Now, a lot of teams are going to go into the season feeling like they have a shot, and that's got to be refreshing. As hard as it is to manage and run a college football team. I saw the Aztecs lost a kid yesterday. I mean, USC just lost Miller Moss. He's going to be entering the portal. I get it. It's chaotic. It's terrible. You may hate it. But, man, when you look at the end of the year and you got 9 teams that you never see in a playoff, I think ultimately that's a really cool thing for college football.
I mean, you look and you see guys like Miller Moss leaving USC in the transfer portal, leaving USC, and you kind of understand the chaos of college football. Now, he lost his starting job.
Yep.
He's graduated from USC. He's got his
he'll
degree.
Go play 1 year.
He's going to play 1 year as a graduate student somewhere, wants to have the option to go somewhere else. I totally understand that. He'll get some NIL money. He'll get teams that are very interested in him at different spots, but that's just the new reality of college football right now, that even a guy like that at a premier school like USC, if you don't like how things are going,
you're out.
You don't like your team, you don't like your coach, you've been benched, you don't like your NIL slice of the pie, go somewhere else the next year. Not great for college football or college football fans. Pretty good for the kids.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Pretty good for the kids. One segment to go. One other college note. Not that it matters. It's kind of like college football playoff rankings early in the season. But Joe Lunardi had a new bracketology. San Diego State has been nowhere to be seen for the last few months off season. They are in now, a 9 seed in the West region, according to his latest bracketology. So
long way to go.
But it does show you that the wins last week moved the needle.
Yes.
For San Diego State. Even though they're still number 60 in the net, he'd have them playing Oklahoma and then possibly Gonzaga again in the second round.
Coming up next, I want to do a deep dive into the month of December. I saw a calendar that came out this morning that caught my fancy, and it tickled me. And I want to do a deep dive into this lost month.
The final month.
The final month of the year. And it's a bit of a lost month.
Before we go to break, we got another pair.
Incredibly lost month.
Such a lost month.
Like, the day you left for Thanksgiving break, that's the end of your work year.
It feels that way, yes. And I've got a calendar that lays it out perfectly.
Before we go to break, though, we got some tickets to give away. Another pair of tickets to see comedian Shane Gillis at Pechanga Arena coming up on June 7th. Yeah, it seems like a long way away, but nice to have the tickets in hand. You can grab yours now at AXS, access.com, or call and win. Third caller, 833-288-0973. Third caller, 833-288-0973. Wins them here with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back. So you get not a problem with December, but
no, it's just this
issues with December.
No, not really. I mean, it's the month of the year that is. It gets summed up really nicely in this calendar that's laid out.
When
and I looked at the calendar and I go, yeah, you pretty much nailed it.
When you
pretty
think,
much nailed
when
it.
you think about it, months are kind of random.
Yeah,
I mean, really random. Actually, there's some of them have 30 days, some of them have 31.
The
One
way
of them has 28.
The way that you do that too is the knuckle method.
You can just determine how many days are in a month by going with your knuckles all the way across. January 31, then February has less than 31. March has 31. April has less than. April has less than 30. May has 31. June has less than 30. July and August next door there,
Knuckle,
both 31.
Two knuckles.
Then September less than 30. October 31. November down under the knuckle is 30, and then December back top knuckle 31.
It's one of the most handy tips that I've learned.
Or you can just remember.
Well, there's that poem, 30 days, half September, April, June. And I always want to say April,
November.
May, and November.
No, May has 31.
You have to know the
you have
poem.
To know it, yes, the poem. You could say half if you.
Half.
In the poem.
30 days, half September.
We really don't get to use half a lot.
We don't. We really don't. Not as much as we should, in my opinion. No, this calendar came out. Let's check it. Let's check traffic.
Some opinions on the calendar for December after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Still a few things wrapping up our morning drive. Northbound side of the 5 past Gilman, stalled car has been moved over to the right shoulder. In the North County, collision on eastbound 78 near Rancho Santa Fe. That's with the fast lane blocked. And southbound side of the 15 before Carmel Mountain Road. There is a collision involving a couple cars there over the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Diesel says, I like the calendar app on my phone.
You can also
pretty much anything technologically can tell you any information nowadays.
Well, this person created the December 2024 calendar. So this is my favorite calendar of all time. It's color coded, and so yellow on the calendar. The dates of December 2nd through December 6th, which is where we currently sit right now. Yellow, pretend to work. This is the pretend to work week. Okay,
it's too early to just shut it down.
100%. You can't go on vacation right now.
No, you can't just say we're done for the year. I'll see you in January. So you do have to.
You have to go through
come
the motions.
You have to. You have to actually make an effort to make it look like you're making an effort.
Correct. Then the next 2 weeks are coded in purple. And those are, don't even pretend anymore. So next week, we're all off the hook.
But you show up.
You show up, but you don't pretend to work. You're just there.
You're just cruising at this point. And no one cares because they're all also cruising.
Correct. So then you get to green, color-coded green, and that starts on the 22nd, which is a Sunday. And it says, destroy your body with food and alcohol. Yep, that's pretty much standard. We will be on vacation that week. This year. Orange is thrown in there, Ben. Also, I neglected to mention, all the weekends are coded in blue. And the blue code means, say you're going to start shopping for Christmas presents. So every single weekend coded in blue, the 7th, the 14th, the 21st, the 1st, the 8th, and the 15th. Hey, I'm going to get some Christmas shopping done this weekend. And then they have orange on the 24th is when you actually start shopping for Christmas presents. I have been out on Christmas Eve and the day before Christmas Eve so many times that would make your head spin.
I always leave something for the last day.
Me too, I've
never been done before Christmas Eve.
Never.
At the very least, stocking stuffers, something has to be picked up on the last day.
Then the 25th, half of the day is nostalgia, and the other half is coded in green, which is, again, destroy your body with food and alcohol. So then you get through, you're in green basically until the 30th, and then it's pink for the 31st, which is prepare for the inevitable disappointment that is New Year's Eve. I think that's probably a younger man's game. I don't get disappointed on New Year's Eve anymore. I don't make plans for New Year's Eve. I don't go out.
You've learned that it's not going to be fun.
Do you even make it to midnight?
I haven't made it till 9. I mean, that's like
the East Coast. You can't even get to the East Coast one
last
anymore.
year, man, I was struggling to keep up till 9, and I didn't make it. And then you get to the 31st, which is, again, preparing for the inevitable disappointment. But a quarter of that day is realize that you got absolutely nothing accomplished in the year 2024.
This year in particular is an odd one in that Christmas and New Year's Day, they always fall on the same day of the week. This year it's on a Wednesday. A Wednesday really kind of having a holiday on a Wednesday really wrecks the rest of the week.
There are going to be people that go to work at least on Monday.
Monday. You go on Monday because you don't want to take 5 straight days off. You don't have the days off. People who don't have the time that they can take will have to show up at least on Monday, maybe on Tuesday, and then they get Wednesday, and then you go back.
Obviously, it depends on
Thursday
what you do for work.
Right.
But I think a lot of like the corporate jobs, you'll at least get New Year's Eve. Sometimes you get New Year's Eve.
Not
you
always.
Get Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off, but like that means Monday would be a work day. And
Yes.
you're like, well, I'm not going in for a day.
One day. Yeah, we banged the 2 weeks this year. We just said we're going to do it. 2 weeks. We'll see you on the 6th.
Because otherwise, if we came back that Thursday would be, is it right? Thursday the 2nd?
Yeah.
Like that'd only be like a week and a half, and then you come back for 2 days, and
then you're back on.
I need a Monday start. I like a Monday start.
I like a fresh start. January 6th, we come back to the airwaves and dominate. But the interesting part was the realizing you got absolutely nothing accomplished in 2024. You know what I did over the weekend? I was texting you guys. When I go back, my yearly tradition.
Yes, you do.
And I go back and I start look. It's a weird thing that I do.
I wasn't sure this was healthy.
Yeah, we can debate it, but I go back.
I had several people text me and ask if you were okay
from my Instagram post.
Yeah.
I think the answer is yes.
I said yeah.
This is what I do.
Maybe a little in his feels, but
I was in my feelings, certainly. But I go back through, I was laying in bed, and I do this at the end of the year now. It's like a tradition. And I go back through these old emails of mine.
Not just from this year, though. You go back several years.
I go back 8 years, and I'm scrolling through these old emails. And it takes me back to that time of where I was so desperate for a gig. Didn't know you guys, we weren't a show, didn't have, the relationships that we do now. But I was scrolling back through them. Emails I've written to my wife, like the day we found out, I was going to be a dad for the first time. And it takes you back, and you remember exactly that day and how it played out.
She didn't email you that news, did she?
No, but we were emailing about it.
Okay.
Yeah. And it just is a weird thing to go back and go, all right, this is actually how far, we've come as a family, how far, I've come professionally. But why do you think it's not healthy? Are you playing Candy Crush on the phone?
No, I'm just going back through my
Okay.
emails, and I'm deleting the ones that I don't want to respond to.
Wait, why are you? How far back are you?
Just a day. I keep
No.
I keep my email.
If you're going to do this exercise, you have to go back.
I delete all my old emails. I don't keep them. I feel like that's
email
unhealthy.
people very often, just besides work.
So why did you think this wasn't healthy?
I don't know. I just feel like you were taking yourself back to a darker place.
It was dark. I was
Which
mad.
is
I was
what worried
texting
me.
you guys screenshots.
Which is what worried me. It also surprises me that you were ever in a spot. Like, why couldn't people realize what a special talent Woods was and is? And like, why would you ever have any trouble landing a gig in this industry?
When I go back,
people should be falling over themselves to hire Woods.
Well, I appreciate that, but when I was going back through these emails of like me reaching out to various program directors around town, and you read the desperation, and you remember the desperation that you felt, it messed with me. It really did. It messed with me a lot. I was sending you guys some of the messages, and then I came across some emails that we had, as a show, and
that was kind of trippy.
It's trippy, and there was one from our old boss, and it was just this list of do you guys still have it? The things that we didn't do on that day's show. And I sent it to you guys. I go, this is unbelievable. We used to get these emails all the time about like everything that we're doing wrong.
We didn't reset the name of our guest enough. We didn't say the name of the station
here it is.
enough. I
Quick
remember that one.
observation.
Read it.
Not a quick observation.
Not
hey,
quick.
guys, quick observation from this morning's show, which was good, by the way. From 7 to 7:15 or so, there was no mention of the station. Ironically, we referred to the app and downloading the podcast, but not the station. Keep in mind, during that long first segment, there are no imaging positions, so all station references come from you guys. Yes, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to get hung up on housekeeping over
Don't
content. That's all you did.
That's literally
That is
all
all
you
you did.
Did we get breaded there a
No.
little bit? Well,
97.3 The
show
Fan,
was
by the
good.
way.
That was the day. Yeah, I think Ben pointed out the next morning. We
nuts.
said the station, it would have driven you crazy. Like
It's a
every
program
30
director
seconds.
thing. My logical brain goes, they turn to the station. It's
They
right
know
there
what
on
they're
their
listening to!
dial.
It's 2024!
It says what station they're
Or
on right
whatever
there.
year it
Do I
was.
have to repeat it that often?
Cars now, like my car now, if I got in right now before 10 a.m., it would say Ben and Woods.
Yes.
Not just 97.3.
They know what they're listening to.
It says an Odyssey station or something. Like they run ads.
We got our new Christmas little logo that comes up on my
Yeah.
car. It's like a holiday ornament that says 97.3 The Fan. Happy holidays. I mean,
then we had one. Then we got one from the big boss, the big boss, the owner. And he ripped us a new one. And he said, Ben and Woods in that meeting were just giving me lip service. I fired off an email back to this guy, the likes of which probably made Ben's hair fall out. Because he's like, this is the loose cannon I'm working with. So I write this guy back. I fillet him. I just filleted him.
Well, I think you didn't have the original email, but
No.
I was trying to remember. I was like, I'm pretty sure he called you out.
He did personal
by name,
shots and stuff.
Took a shot
But-
at you.
So I write him back and I just fillet him. And then he writes back, I was just all in good fun. I was just saying that to put a scare into the bosses. I'm like, this is my life, dude. So I remember all of these crazy stories. I'm laying in bed and I'm obviously very grateful, but it just takes me back to this weird place where it makes me like, I do this every year. It like refires me up. And while it is unhealthy, I think, it does motivate me to kick some ass. And that's kind of what I need sometimes.
I've never seen you
97.3 The Fan, by the way.
97.3 The Fan.
I've never seen you unmotivated, though.
I can get there.
Really?
Yeah, I can get there. I get a little despondent sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
But like, I'm telling you, I was reading back through these emails. I was like, I will kill everybody in my sight.
It's weird because I sometimes feel bad that I don't share necessarily your drive, like for success. Like I'm more satisfied just with where we are, and I'm generally I think a happier person because of it.
It was pretty wild though. Like that email that you wrote back to the big boss.
Yeah, the big boss.
Like you said, and this was
7 years ago.
3 months in.
Yeah.
I mean, we had just
Brand new.
started, but you said, look, man, this is like the vision that we have for the show. Like we're starting to kind of get a good feeling here. And like you laid out your vision.
Mm-hmm.
And damn it, if it hasn't,
It all
kind of
came
come
true. I know it was a trip.
And it's why I love working with you, though, because I was actually doing this yesterday, and you read about the top athletes and their will to win,
Yes,
like their refusal to lose. I don't have that. I don't necessarily think it makes you a great person to be. I have to win at all costs.
Yeah.
I don't mind seeing other people win from time to time. Spread the wins around a little bit. It's okay if other people win. It's not a reflection on me necessarily that I didn't work hard enough or that our show isn't good enough that we didn't win. I'm proud of our show. I think we do good shows all the time. And I love it that, when we do win and we've got a huge audience, but I also know that on some days, it's not going to happen. It's not a reflection on me. I don't think it's because I don't work hard enough but I just don't have that crazed desire to win at all costs.
Yeah,
and I was wondering if I could be a better golfer
Part
if
of
I
it's-
had that desire.
People are wired differently.
Part of it's the job too. It's
Part
not
of
like
it's
we
the
don't
job.
have like real big projects that we take weeks or months to work on, and then you're like, whew, that I feel accomplished. We have a good show or a bad show. It doesn't really matter. We're like, great, awesome show, best show we've had in months.
Off
guys.
to Jupiter.
Do it again.
What are we doing tomorrow?
That's the worst. It's driving me crazy. And that's why me going through these old emails. But no, it's a weird exercise. It's a weird exercise. And, look, it's what I do at the end of my year. But you know what? It always does, Ben. It always reinforces that we've done great things. And that makes me happy.
I agree.
That's great.
I didn't get really to Roki Sasaki talk. Guess what? He's going to sign with the Dodgers, the Padres, or one of the other teams in Major League Baseball. I think we've determined that. Maybe Annie and Elston will have more when they come up next. For executive producer Paul Reindl, Stephen Woods, he always wants to win. I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Tuesday from all of us here at 97.3 The Fan. 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.